Welcome to Roundabout Cast, episode 74. No bits, no gimmicks, just talking.
I'm Gavin.
I'm joined here with Gavin, Steve, and Joe.
Yeah.
You're not Joe, you're Steve.
Oh, okay.
I'm Joe.
I can't believe we came up with a worse bit. Sorry, that's Bradley.
You did this,
Bradley, Joe, and Tyler, and we're here to talk about some things before I go to Brazil and get kidnapped and never see you guys again.
Oh.
Man, I'm jealous.
We already have it. You're jealous about the kidnapping.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better than my next week's schedule.
Oof. I mean, I'll still be working next week, so we'll be both.
Damn.
While you're kidnapped? That's more dedication than I have.
Oh no, sorry. I leave on the 15th, but Joe's about to go on vacation, so we have to do it today.
I'm about to leave. I will not tell you where, and I will not tell you the place I live because I don't want my house to get robbed.
You know what?
I'm going to Colorado.
I will not tell you where, but it's in Colorado.
Yeah, I was like...
it'll be the first time skiing since just before COVID.
Yes.
So, I mean, every time I've tried to go skiing, it's been canceled for one reason or another. So
It's time.
it is time.
Well,
I'm gonna
guys,
die.
let's squeeze it in before you die from skiing and I die from food from my family. That would be fucking delicious, and I'll make all the negative progress and health goals when I'm over there. So that would be fun. I mean, I could talk about that. Like at least the plans. We're going to Rio de Janeiro, which is the capital. Not the capital. That's Brasilia, but it's the biggest city, and we're going during Carnival time, so that's gonna be a little litty.
Oh, that's gonna be lit.
Are you gonna do Fat Tuesday at in Brazil?
I don't really know. That's probably a thing. I've never done Carnival there, really. I mean, as an adult, as a dumb child, I have, yes. But
I've seen pictures of Carnival, and it looks spicy.
did you know that they put boobies on the television in Brazil? Like,
Yes.
like the nipples are visible.
Yes.
As a child, and that's that's why we grew up so fucked up. Because nudity will ruin everything.
I wouldn't say cultured.
So we'll go to the beach a little bit, but then when I'm back, it is a non-stop whirlwind tour of seeing like over 100 family members. So,
Oh man,
that'll be fun.
You gotta tell me about the soaps.
I got a what?
You gotta tell us about the soaps we didn't get back.
Sure. Yes, Brazilians do love watching soaps, but we can.
I thought you were talking about like hand soaps.
No, I don't think we're known for that, but last time I did get some nice soaps as a gift to bring home, and they're some of the best soaps, so it's relevant. I'll roll into my quick talk while we're there. What do I got? So I've been listening to Agatha Christie books. I think I mentioned last podcast I was going to try to do that, and I've listened to 2 of them since then. So it's nice not having to listen to long ass serials and adventure fantasy books.
probably a good change of pace.
Oh,
so
yes.
Y'all,
she's one of the mystery masters, right?
Yes. What do you love, Tyler?
I love my long ass cereals.
I do too. I like my Apple Jacks. I like my Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I was about to make that joke.
Not to make the same
It's
joke.
a bad joke because Apple Jack sucks, and I led with it. So
I don't know why you chose Apple Jacks. You could have gone with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
no one said I'm good at humor, but so the Agatha Christie books I read are Body in the Library and Murder at the Vicarage. And I'll tell you a little bit about both. Body at the Library I picked as my first one because it had the most basic bitch title. So I was like, if I'm going to get the closest to a random sampling, I'm going to pick this one I've never heard of that has the most innocuous title. And I quite liked it. It's she's the master of mysteries and has written like over 100 mysteries, so knowing where to start is tough. And basically her bibliography splits into 3, mainly 2 trees, but there's a third one. She's got the Detective Poirot mysteries. He's like more of like a, from what I understand, a Sherlockian, like, sleuth, like, kind of like Benoit Blanc from Knives Out franchise kind of guy. And then she's got Miss Marple mysteries, which both of these fall into. And Miss Marple is just like a old lady that lives in a village and just knows everything about everyone. And she's kind of like the recurring character, but there's like, I guess, a bunch of murders in this village. She'll always know the answer halfway through the book, but then not tell anyone because she needs to confirm it, which is a trope I'm not usually a fan of, but I digress because the actual mysteries are fun. So, Body in the Library is a body is found in a library. Like a colonel wakes up, and his wife is like, "Hey, the maid just found a body in the library." He's like, "What the hell?" And yeah, lo and behold, there's one there. There's no sign of forced entry, and they have to solve how it got there. This one, as my first one, I was pretty happy that I was able to kind of solve it pretty early. I had it on lock who it was, so maybe it wasn't the most hidden mystery. But there's definitely some good twists and turns. I much prefer the second book I read, which was actually the first Detective Marple book, which was called Murder at the Vicarage. And this one, I think it's maybe like a simple, well, I don't know. It's maybe a less well plotted mystery where it's a little harder to guess. So I guess like if that's what you want, like I was not able to necessarily get this one. But what I did like was the cast of characters, where you get introduced to a lot of the village, and they're a lot more lively in this one, despite this being her first book in the Marple series and one of her earliest books. I really like the main character. He's the vicar, which is a clergyman for the village, so he does most of the sermons and handles all the religious stuff, and it just ends up being a really interesting character. So yeah, I'm going to get into a Poirot book next. I'm gonna probably read his first one, so I'll get a little bit of both. And it's nice because when you're doing them at 1.5 audiobook speed, they're like 4.5 to 5 hours. So I'll probably bang one out at least by the time I get back to the next podcast, which will be like in over 21 days from now. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about in quick talk was a movie called City of God. Have y'all heard of this movie?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
What do you know about it, Tyler?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've also heard of it. I know it's a Brazilian movie, but like I can't. I think it's also religious in some scape, but I can't really recall much about it.
Yeah, if the religion is the fucking hood, it is a Brazilian movie.
Okay.
It is one of the most well-known Brazilian movies, and I watched it when I was quite frankly too young. I was reminded it exists the other day, so I was like, hey, let me just throw it in the back, and I quickly became engrossed. If you go on the internet and people are talking about this movie, they will mention it as like, oh, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. This is like top 30 of all movies of all time, top 10, top 5, whatever. So it's got a pedigree for the people who have watched it. And I gotta say, it is a damn near perfect movie. The problem is that it's too intense for me. So let me break it down real quick. Hold on, I had notes that I've misplaced. Well, I guess they've disappeared. So City of God is the story of the City of God favela, which is one of the largest slums in Rio de Janeiro. And while it follows one character primarily called Rocket, who is kind of like on the outskirts of the world, he grew up there, but he worked hard to kind of become a photographer and a journalist outside. But he, even as he was starting off as a journalist, he still lived there, so he's still like getting involved with all these other characters. But it has a bunch of protagonists and antagonists, and they all kind of share the same amount of spotlight. It's just jumping from one to the other constantly. And the best way to describe it is like you get to see how in the late 60s, early 70s to 80s, power was handed off in the City of God between multiple players and people. And it's just like really well told. It's told like with a lot of snappy cuts. The acting is interesting. They got a bunch of the actual people who live in the hood and just kind of had an acting coach kind of drill into them some ways that they should act. One of the most notable characters is Little Z, who is one of the most vile men I've ever had the pleasure of watching on television. And it sucks because you know that guy existed. And a lot of it is true and based on recollections from Rocket, because he wrote a book about his life eventually. And like There's some scenes with Little Z that would make you guys not be able to continue with the movie because what he does is just so fucked up. And like despite that, the movie it's got like a sense of humor where it really shows that like when life is pushed to that extreme, life is completely different from how we recognize it. Like some of the most fucked up things become normal, and people just kind of live with it, and that's just their life, and and that's why like this is clearly a 5 out of 5 movie objectively. If I was if I was to rate it in that way, but I have to give it a 4.5 because it hits a little too close to home because growing up I had favelas right down the street, and it reminded me that I was in such a shootout as you saw in this movie when I was young, where some of the people from the favela drove up the street and started having a shootout while I was outside playing, so they drove like right by me and I had to like run away. I was like, oh, right, that's why I forgot about this movie a little bit, because it's like, to a lot of people this feels like fiction, but I know for a fact that some people just go outside and it's their reality. That being said, I highly recommend it. It's such a good movie. It just like it's pretty difficult to watch, especially the first time. And when I watched this too young, I could see why I didn't appreciate it as much. But yeah, really good movie. Probably one of my favorites, but not very high up the list just because of that reality check I mentioned. But that's all I wanted to bring up. Who wants the hot potato next?
I could take the potato.
Please, take this potato.
Because I moved, and I'm still not done with, like... I got everything unboxed, but I haven't had time to settle my life yet.
That's kind of crazy, if I can interrupt, that you have everything unboxed, because I still have 2 boxes unboxed. Like,
Same.
Yeah, that's crazy. You've been hustling.
Yeah, and I still don't have like enough time to do everything because my work is pretty demanding. So like, I'm gonna go back to work after this. Because I went and picked up a couch today. Kudos to Bradley, my best friend, for helping me.
Dude, my shoulders are so sore.
But yeah, things are going all right. I've got some anime I could talk about. It's been a little bit of an anime season going on. I've got some on my to watch list. Like, Bofuri came out with a 2nd season, so I think I might watch it. That's the I don't want to get hurt, so I max out my defense too. Yeah, any isekai with a 2nd season, I don't know. Trigun Stampede. They are remaking Trigun.
I want to watch
in
this.
a new 3D style. Yeah, I do too. Like, this is looking really good. It hasn't come out with a new episode in 2 weeks. I don't know if it was just these like 2 episodes and then they're just not gonna make any more. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I highly doubt that.
Rewatching Mob Psycho. It's criminal. Willer hasn't watched this yet, to be honest, and
soon. You know what?
I'm doing a rewatch with Kelly.
Show put a gun to my head. Next podcast we'll talk about it. Gun to my head.
Show's so fucking good. Let's see.
Can we talk about Blue Lock real quick and have a quick Blue Lock? Because I caught up to Blue Lock the other week. I was one off.
Wait. Did you watch this past week?
No.
This last week fucking popped off.
I'll just say that I really enjoyed catching up to Blue Lock. It's got the tone things that I don't like, but I really like how it's progressing. I like a lot of the characters. I really liked I like Chigiri as a character, but I also really liked the God, I had his name, but
the white-haired kid.
No, the traitor. There's an arc with the traitor that I thought was actually pretty good. Yeah. And I really liked the gimmick that you were talking about the 3-on-3s and swapping out.
Yeah.
Though I will say, the number 1 guy is about as stereotypical as you want, but the number 3 guy, the number 3 guy is some goofy shit. Like, that guy is a cartoon character.
And he's just like a non-stop train of destruction. and he's like,
He's
I don't know. He reminds me of like a Titan the way he runs.
Yes, actually, definitely some of those running scenes were very Titan-esque. The white guy you mentioned, is that the lazy guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him well enough. I do like how he's part of the trio. I like how he had to break up with his boy to join the trio.
His boy's a little whiny bitch.
He's all right. But yeah, that's my Blue Lock. Keep going with your animes.
Man. Yeah, I'm enjoying Blue Lock a whole lot. It kind of makes my Saturdays great. I start my Saturdays with Blue Lock, and I end it disappointed with My Hero. Man, I might just read it so I can not want to watch it anymore.
My Hero or Blue Lock?
My Hero.
Okay.
I will say, every shot I see of My Hero is kind of crazy because I remember the manga feeling so dark and grimy in the scenes that I'm seeing the shots of, and the shots are the most colorful things that I've ever seen. It's kind of crazy.
People are talking about how it's like, oh, it's Dark Deku arc about to happen, you know? And I'm like, y'all, Deku fucking sucks.
Dark Deku arc is not great, let me tell you.
I'm gonna
But it's short. Don't worry about that. At least it's not for long.
This season was so good because only 2 episodes focused on Deku.
Yeah.
That was it.
Man, I need to catch up. I'm 10 behind now.
It's crazy how who is it? Shonen Jump? Is that who it is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is their first, and it sucks because it's so successful. My Hero Academia is so fucking successful.
It's still in their top 5 sellers.
Oh, I would say it's probably top 3.
No, it's
not quite.
It's not. No.
Does My Hero Academia beat Dragon Ball Z in sales?
Oh, we're talking about current stuff. It's not even top.
And total.
It's barely top 5 of the current stuff. I don't think it beats Dragon Ball Z. It gets beat by Chainsaw Man, One Piece, Jujutsu, and Dan Dan, for example. And,
that makes me happy.
Demon Slayer still outsells
everything.
Demon Slayer's fucking good. Did I ever talk about me finishing that?
No,
Probably
I
not.
didn't even know you finished it, so I
thought
can finish
did.
it up.
Oh yeah, no, I finished that months ago, dude.
Joe was waiting, but
Fuck. All right, I'll go try to
I could have
finish it.
sworn
this
I
month.
said I fucking finished it.
I got a plane ride, so I can download those on my iPad.
y'all could do your book club that you're planning when I'm away. There you go.
I did it.
Yeah, so God, Deku fucking sucks so bad. It does make me happy how much hentai is drawn of all the other characters. And it's they don't even do that much of Deku.
I don't know. It seems I saw a thing with Deku dressed in the bunny girl's outfit, and there were people thirsting in the comments. So
there's hope.
I don't know what you mean by that. But
Deku is literally the worst Shonen Jump protagonist, and the gap between him and Asta is incomparable.
I think I might like him less than the little I've watched of Bleach and Ichigo. Because Ichigo is one of my least favorite protagonists.
Ichigo is the blonde shonen character, though.
No, he's
Ichigo
explicitly
is right
not
up there
blonde,
with It's like Inuyasha, Goku, and Ichigo. Those are the staples.
Here's the thing,
day.
though, Tyler. I defy you to name a Shonen Jump character who has suffered more than Deku.
Oh man,
He was told to unalive himself one time, and he never recovered.
I don't think Deku has suffered more than Genocide Lad, which is also a really cool name for an anime. But I'm not talking about making up an anime. I'm talking about Attack on Titan.
I can't ever know with you. Oh yeah, Aaron's been through some shit. To be fair,
I'm really excited for the last season start. My only problem is I would rather wait until the first part ends, so I'll probably watch it. I can start watching it at the end of the year when it's gonna wrap up.
Oh my god, the last part is split into 2? Is that real?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it might be 3 parts.
That's what they did last time.
No.
Anyway,
I don't believe it.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that I don't think I can go that long without spoilers.
Oh no, they're gonna be all over the place.
Yeah, shit gets wild near the end, for better and worse.
Vinland Saga Season 2 came out. I need to watch
Ooh.
that. I think Golden Kamuy Season 4 came out, and I need to watch that as well. Y'all, my entire short is just saying how behind I am on all my anime.
Hey, whatever you need to say.
Hey,
Whatever you
on
need.
Another
A
note,
move will do that to you.
on
Yeah.
another
Put a
note,
sticky note on the board so we can keep that in mind.
while I have been moving, I've been listening to motherfucking Pact.
Let's go!
Oh,
The fuck?
So, for reference, Tyler just got to Arc 8. So, yeah, a lot has happened.
What the fuck?
The balls of an author to do some of the things he does in this story.
Did he flip a coin?
No, I believe this one was always in the plan.
This was the plan, dude.
But Tyler, you have to trust the vision because Arc 9 is one of the greatest things I've ever read. Unironically,
It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Oh man, every paragraph. Actually, every paragraph in Arc 9 is just
Legitimately.
good.
I am upset,
But
and that's it. Like, I have not been upset by a book in a long time.
does it hit
I'm
you
more
harder?
upset than when I finished the last Stephen King book I read.
But and that one ends with some bullshit, as I recall, because it was it, right? So
Yeah, I'm more upset than when I finished reading it.
well, that says a lot. Here's the thing, Tyler. Just trust. It stays good.
No. I'm over halfway through Arc 8, I believe,
Mhm.
of the girl with the checkered scarf. This is his, flashback to, what was that one group in Worm?
The Travelers.
Yeah, it's the flashback to the Traveler section.
It is.
It's like,
Um,
let's go focus on something else.
this is fucking insane right now. This entire plot twist in Arc 8 is like genius in itself.
yeah.
Because this throws such a huge fucking, like, this has thrown a wrench into everything. Where, like, I kinda had some ideas about what could happen after 7. But now with this, I'm like, I don't know where this is going. I genuinely have no idea. Like, I'm just devastated.
By next podcast, you'll probably be at like 9 or 10, and I really want another checkup. And I have a plan of stitching up all the times you talked about Pact and making that a little video, because I know I feel bad for our Wild Bow subscribers who came here for Wild Bow.
I'll say we've been doing a bunch of like snippets of Pact, so
Yeah.
it might be cool to just kind of sum them up.
Willer just got to come down for a weekend and hang out at my new place, and me, Wheeler, and Bradley will get together and we'll just make 2 long 10-hour videos about Worm and Pact.
And then one day we'll have to do an updated tier list video of the best characters.
Well, though at best we can show Tyler our tier list, and he can give us a quick roast, so we don't have to do the whole shebang.
Except we
Yeah.
placed everyone exactly where they're supposed
It's
to go.
kind of
so
perfect, and I think even Tyler will agree. But we'll see.
I think even Tyler would agree.
If Evan's not an S tier.
Oh, what do you take us for?
Girl,
What kind of
I don't
question is
know.
that?
I don't know, man. I saw your Pokemon tier list.
Well, you weren't there. Okay, you don't know.
me next.
Yeah, Bradley.
Unless Tyler's not done.
No, I'm done. That's all I
So-
can remember right now.
My main quick talk is replayed Mafia 2. First time I ever played this game. I think it was a demo on the Xbox Live Arcade back in the day when I had my 360. And it was really fucking fun because the demo would just kind of dump you into the open world map, which honestly, to some people, the demo might be like one of the more fun ways to play this game, because the big downside of Mafia 2 is that it has a very large and detailed and fun city, and it's an open world city. You can drive around and do whatever you want. But while you can do whatever you want, there's not a lot to do in it.
One of
in
those
the game-
empty open worlds.
Yeah, and it's not like you can drive around and do whatever you want and then the story missions start whenever you get close to those areas. It's like your character wakes up and then you have a character call you on the phone, and like you kind of have to go do the story missions.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I played Mafia 1 last year, like the remake, definitive edition, and I was so confused because like they had this huge open world, but like there's never like a chance where like you're just like, all right, you can get some time to go drive around the city. It's like you finish the mission and then immediately throws you into the next mission. Like you're at the Don's place, like, all right, go to Frankie's and break his legs, and like, okay, and then you drive over there and do it, and then the next mission starts up again. It's really weird.
Now, that being said, as an open world game, it scores kind of low. As a Mafia movie, it's off the goddamn chain.
Nice. That's cool to hear.
That's the thing. Like, you know, you'll go to a story mission and you have to do like 4 or 5 minutes of a shootout, and then you get rewarded with like a 3 or 4 minute cutscene, and the story is genuinely just fucking cool. I love all the characters, especially like the last few scenes. I was on the edge of my seat. There's not much more to talk about than that. This video game is a great movie.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I
I'm glad that you like story games now, and I will
Hell
take
yeah.
some credit for that. I own Mafia 3 due to like a PSN giveaway that they do every month.
Ooh.
So how about I play through 3, and then all of us have covered one of the games in the
Yeah,
trilogy.
Joe will have 1. I'll have 2. You have 3. Well, Joe also played 2. Joe also played 2 at some
Who's
point.
covering the Mafia DS game?
Sorry, Tyler, it falls on you.
Yeah, it seems like
Shit.
Yeah,
I mean, the jailbroken DS will take it.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Right aside Mother 3.
Yep.
I actually couldn't find my 3DS charger after the move.
Oh shit. I mean, I've had to buy a 3DS charger a couple
Yeah.
of times personally.
Same.
Can you believe that I've used my 3DS like a good chunk last year? Because like near the end of the year, I get back into Pokemon for like a month or two, and I just do like a random Nuzlocke. So I still get use out of my DS. I will say
DS top tier console.
it's pretty good. So that's Mafia 2. I think that was Bradley's only quick chat thing.
I think so.
You got anything else that springs to mind but isn't later on down the line?
Nah, we got them later on.
Okay. That leaves Joe.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Tyler didn't even talk about Flamecraft and Sheriff of Nottingham, which are his actual things.
Nuttingham.
Those were my actual things.
Oh, do you want to move them? Hold on. We have board games.
No, I definitely don't.
Okay.
There's just some like light new board games that I played. I know Joe's played both of them, and
I've played Flamecraft. I've not actually been able to play Sheriff Nottingham yet. I know what it is, but I've not been able to actually play it myself.
I would say these are both really mid games. I would not purchase these or go out of my way to purchase them or suggest other people purchase them. I would say these are good if your friend owns it or if you go to a board game store and they own it.
My counter to that is I think neither of these games I would recommend to Tyler. I think Flamecraft I think is a bit overrated. It's a very cute game, but it's also a very simple game.
I fucking hated that game. And
yeah,
I don't know if it was the hangover I developed while playing it right after I got done drinking.
Yeah. I've learned that I should not play board games with Tyler past 10 o'clock because he will actually get a migraine.
I absolutely loved Spirit Island whenever we did it past 10 o'clock, and I was still drunk.
Yeah, but you
That
still
was
have
a
a migraine.
great time.
Yeah. But I think Flamecraft is I just kind of do when I first played. It's like Tyler's not gonna like this game. Sheriff of Nottingham is also another one of those games because Sheriff of Nottingham is a bluffing game. I think you might like it, Willer.
I love me a good bluffing game.
Yeah, you have a bag and everyone gets a turn as the sheriff, and so you have to put items into the bag and give them to the sheriff, and you need to lie about what's in the items or tell the truth. And if you've lied and the sheriff opens your bag, then you lose points basically. But if you tell the truth and he opens your bag, he gets penalized and you basically steal the points from him. In addition, you can do things like you can bribe the sheriff with like money to stop him from opening your bag. It's got a lot of like social deduction elements to it that I think you would enjoy.
Nice. as a board game update, I will talk about 3 that I've played that have been talked about on the podcast. I'll just briefly mention them. I played Mosaic with Tyler and Joe. Mosaic's pretty great. I liked it. I got smoked, but that's what I was there for, to get smoked. I've played Detective City of Angels with Joe, and I like that one. I particularly like the second scenario we did, which, boy, that had some twists and turns. That thing was fucked up. No one won.
I won the game.
And then Joe won. Sorry, if you want to count that. And
Wait,
Joe,
is that the game I played with you, Joe?
Yeah, we played that. You played.
oh,
with us.
Detective City?
we did play around. I will say
Yeah.
the second thing is so much more complex than the first one, Tyler. It was shocking.
I hope so. I was like, I want to guess this as quick as possible so we can put it away.
Yeah, Tyler is again no fun past 10 as established.
Also know that was not going to be a Tyler game, but it's all right.
And then what is the name of the card game we played, Joe? Because that shit is
The Crew.
hilarious.
I just bought the Crew because I want to play with my family while I'm on vacation.
The Crew is Joe's probably never talked about this, but it's a card game
haven't.
where you have to go through your hand Uno style a little bit, but you have to follow a random set of rules that you draw, and you can't communicate. So what it became was me, Joe, and our friend Trevor becoming cavemen and just repeating our rules that are like public knowledge to each other. And it's like, Joe, I will win the pink 5, but then Joe's like, but I will not win the last hand. And we would just yell our rules at each other nonstop until we got like what we were trying to portray.
Get across.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was so funny.
It was very funny.
Love that
That's a
game.
great game. One of the best games I've played. Super cheap. I got for $10 at the game store.
Is that Jamaica, the Crew?
No.
Now, Joe,
yeah.
tell us about the things that you were going to tell us about.
Yeah, so I watched in a bit of insomnia. I watched the entirety of that '90s show in one night.
How is it? Like,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead. I want to know.
it's a follow up to that '70s show. The main character is the child of Donna and Eric, and she comes and visits Eric's parents for the summer, and she's up staying there and makes a bunch of friends. And so it's just basically her summertime with the with Red and Kitty.
Now, how
From that
old are
70s
these?
show.
Because I think I saw a shot of them doing the circle.
It does not make sense timeline wise.
What do you mean?
Well, how old are the kids? It'd be
Oh,
20
how
years.
old are the kids? They're in high school, I believe.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
guess they can smoke
Yeah.
weed because high schoolers do that.
Yeah.
So-
Well, they were
They-
high
they-
schoolers in
yeah,
that
in the
70s
original.
show too.
Yeah. But that was the
Yeah.
70s. That was different.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's called that '90s show, and it hasn't been 20 years since that '70s show.
Has it been 20 years since that '70s show in like real time or in
Yes.
that
It's
70s
been
show?
real time.
It's been over 20 because I think that was a 90s
think
show.
Yeah, I think it's over 20.
Yeah.
It was '98.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. But it's like
It's been 20.
I don't know.
25-ish.
So I know there's some spoiler. Like I've seen. I guess it makes sense. Never mind. I'll shut up. Everyone seems age appropriate. The parents are just very aged.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's the crazy thing to me is the fact that Red and Kitty look like they don't age.
I'm surprised they don't look older.
Yeah, like I was really like, and then I went back and I watched some clips from that '70s show, and I'm like, what the fuck are these two on? They look the exact same.
They're on cocaine. It's the '70s.
It's really good makeup artistry. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. But they might just be two healthy individuals. But that being said, the actor, and actress that plays Kitty and Red, fucking kill it. They're really funny.
Awesome.
They do not like lose a step at all.
I'm glad they're
Um,
not phoning it in.
Yeah, I think
All
I
the
think
kids look like Disney actors.
They do.
They
That's
do
the
look
problem.
Disney actors. I
Wait,
think
but that's
also-
because when we think of Disney actors, we think of 90s TV show people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe it works.
Yeah, I think there's some chemistry that hasn't been like really formulated between the kids. There's some there, but it's not entirely there. Like I think the boys have some good chemistry, but I think the girl chemistry is a little bit awkward. But that might be coming from me as a male. But I think
Dirty, filthy
Leia,
male.
who is
Ugh.
Eric's daughter,
Oh, that's funny.
she has really good chemistry with all of the old cast, which is great. Like whenever she's talking to Red and Kitty and Eric and Donna, like I think all of those scenes are great and she does good there.
They brought Christopher Topher back?
Yes, as Eric, yeah, he's only in it for like
That's
episode.
shocking.
That's what
That's
they
the
do.
thing, because he wasn't in the last season of the original, right?
Yeah, he was not.
That's so
Yeah.
weird.
That's
It is
hilarious.
weird.
I've watched some of the Full House reboot. I have a soft spot for that thing because my little brother would watch it when he was young, and I was like, "What the fuck are you watching Full House and Fuller House for?" But it was just wholesome, so I would sit down and watch it with him. And it just reminded me of watching weird sitcoms when I was young. So I have a soft spot for that, and it feels like you don't hate this. This seems all right.
No, it seems okay. Like I'm just like, yeah, they're making season, and like it ends in a way where it's like, if they don't make another one, whatever. But they also leave it open to where like Leia ends up. Spoiler alert for the series, I guess.
Yeah, fine.
Leia ends up going back home to live with her mom and dad at the end of the summer, so she doesn't get to stay. There are some hooks at the end that might set up some interesting drama later, but it ends with a note of like Leia just kind of like getting to experience like self-independence, which is its big kind of like her big growth factor.
There's a season
But
2 in works, so I might watch this actually. I might do what you did and just kind of throw it on in insomnia.
I think the only two characters that have not come back in the first season, if I'm not mistaken, have been Hyde,
Yeah.
He's in jail.
Danny Masterson. He is not in jail.
Oh, is he
Well,
not? Oh, that's right.
Okay, but what do they say about Uncle Hyde?
Yeah, what do they say
don't
about
mention
Hyde?
him. They don't
They
mention
don't?
anything about Hyde at all.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, fuck.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. What do they say about Uncle Sex Pest Fez?
He's in, right?
Yeah, Bez
This
is
is
in.
in the show.
He is handsome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watched a video recapping That 70s Shows, and yeah, that little kid was a sex pest. No one, I don't think he's probably the worst aged character in the whole show.
Yeah, a little bit. But he is funny in the show.
Is Tommy Chong in it?
Who's Tommy Chong? Is that Leo?
Of Cheech and Chong, yes.
Yeah, I believe he's in it. Yeah,
That's fine.
Leo's in it?
yeah, Leo's in it. Leo's in it a bunch actually.
Yeah, well, Leo kind of carried the last fucking season.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, this makes me want to rewatch and watch this.
I was kind of like on the fence about you talking about it now because I want to give it a try. But
Yeah.
there was this one clip I saw of them in the basement, and one of the kids is just like, "It's a rave," and I'm just like,
Oof.
this out of context really feels like I'm watching an episode of iCarly.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's great. Okay.
That is the one thing though, is that like they I feel like the 90 hokiness, 90 early 2000 hokiness is like on purpose. Like it's supposed to like really feel that way. But like it's also really surreal because they're on Netflix, so they get the swear. So they will be in these like 90s sitcom scenarios on Disney Channel, and then they'll just start cursing at each other. Like, and it's just kind of weird.
Why are these children cursing?
Yeah,
Now-
it's like that.
Speaking of these and these revivals, I'm gonna need one of us to scout out the iCarly reboot. And
I have watched.
Bradley,
I've actually watched the first season of it.
oh, what the fuck, dude? Is it good?
Yeah, I watched it when it came out. You know, it is just as good as the original iCarly would be if you watched it as an adult. So take that, like, the writing is exactly the same. So if
Without the feet stuff?
without the feet stuff,
It's not
that's
the same,
thing.
then.
Okay,
You
cool.
know what? It's not the same.
I don't like the
But
feet
no,
stuff, so
That's
not
the
fair.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say to wrap up that 90s show. I think I had a good time watching it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but like if season 2 comes out, I will probably throw it on at another point and just
Oh.
watch that as well.
The biggest fan.
So
Oh, y'all.
yeah.
Speaking of iCarly remake, I listened to the latter half of I'm Glad My Mother Killed Herself.
Just the latter half.
So I let Kelly use my.
Oh, you gave her the aux cord. Oh no.
No, she was trying to get Audible herself, and it wasn't working. So I was just like, I have a shit ton of credits. I was planning on getting the book anyway. Just use it.
I hear that book's really good.
It is really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was like I can't put this down good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's yeah.
It is just. It's not just because it's just interesting. It's a really good take on Jeanette McCurdy's life and what happened, but is also a just astounding revelation of what probably so many other kids go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I love hearing what her coworkers had to say about it because, like in regards to the new show, they're like we love her. She is our family. She is always welcome to come join us, but we totally respect her decision and why she wouldn't want to come on this show.
Mhm.
Like we wouldn't want to put her through something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it's good. I would recommend it. Like even if you've never watched iCarly, like you could still find a lot of value and entertainment out of.
Yeah, I actually know a lot of people.
This
who don't
person
really...
suffering. That's a really weird way to say it.
Yeah.
It's a really raw take and very interesting take. She makes it to where you don't want to put it down, but you feel terrible at the same time. You're just like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
That equilibrium.
Ugh. Like it's guttural. Maybe that's a better word than entertaining.
Nice.
Yeah. She did a one-man show of that book, by the way.
Yes, it was.
She narrates
before.
the Audible book.
Oh, good.
She's
I'm glad that
great.
she-
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
fuck.
I would recommend it just because I know it was really hard to find the week it came out. Like that book actually sold out. When is the last time a book sold out?
I don't know who's buying. Yeah, like I guess people still buy books physically. I'm going to wrap up. Ooh,
No. We were talking about reboots still. I watched the first probably 90 seconds of How I Met Your Dad, How I Met Your Father.
I keep seeing them try to make viral ads on Twitter about that show where they're like
the
dancing.
ads are everywhere.
They're trying so hard.
I watched the first 90 seconds and I was like, these aren't real people.
Yeah.
Nobody like I could believe there being a guy named Barney and he just walks around and goes challenge accepted. Like that's that's the one weird guy. Like I get that because I do shit like
Everyone
that.
else
Like,
is
that's
really
me.
grounded though.
Yes. Like I didn't even get to the other grounded characters because
I mean in the original. I have no idea about
Hillary
the new show.
Duff gets in an Uber that's being driven by a guy that already has, and he's like, oh, this is my friend in the passenger seat. I hope you don't mind he's with me. I'm just dropping him off at the airport. And she was like, yeah, totally cool. I'm like, weird, but okay. And then she's like, well, actually, since we're being so personal, I was like, can I borrow your iPhone charger? My phone hungry. Oh, boo boo. And she like waving her phone. I'm like, that's not a real person. Nobody does that. You would kick her out of the car.
Why did you have to share that information with me? My phone.
It's AI generated.
It would make sense if these people knew each other. Like 5 episodes in, fine. That's totally fine. First 30 seconds, I'm like, nobody would get into an Uber and go, can I get your phone charger? My phone hungry. Ugh.
I thought the weird thing you were gonna say was that someone had passenger seat, someone else in their passenger seat in the Uber. Like, nah, that's happened before.
No, that's fine. No, that's not.
It's that her phone was hungry.
That has 2 seasons, and I turned it off after the first 90 seconds. I was just like, nope.
Stellar review. Okay, everyone, just quickly, what were your favorite things in the Nintendo Direct?
Ooh! Man, every time I read a new headline, I had a new favorite thing.
Look, let's get the Bradley thing out of the way. New fantasy life, Bradley.
New fantasy life. I legitimately thought it would never happen. And I don't know, like most fans didn't think it would ever happen again. Fantasy life, low key, probably my top 1 3DS game. I have multiple files. Just one of those files had 300 hours. I'm a casual. I'll see people on the subreddit with like 2,000 hours on one file.
Okay, it's like a Disgaea game. Okay,
Dude, it's like it was like an open world RPG Animal Crossing, which was insane.
Don't worry, I listened to episode 5 of the Roundabout cast where Bradley lovingly told us about how cool Fantasy Life was, and I said, hey, you know what? This seems cool, and you know what, Bradley? I will check this out when it comes out, just based on how much you love that first one.
Now, here's my big worry just from the trailer.
Ooh.
Is the first game leaned way more heavily on the open world RPG than on the Animal Crossing side. This trailer looks like it leans more on the Animal Crossing side, to the point that it kind of looks just like Animal Crossing New Horizons in some of the clips they show. So I don't know. I hope it keeps that open world RPG aspect, and I hope it really keeps some of the stuff I really liked about the original, like some of the unique classes, because, you know, you can be a fighter, mage, paladin, stuff like that, but you can also choose to be a carpenter or a fisherman, and your combat abilities don't suffer for it. Like, you level up just as well doing your fishing stuff as you do doing
They definitely
combat.
highlighted all that class-based stuff in the trailer, so...
Man.
I just can't believe they actually did it.
I'm happy
It's
for
unbelievable. Thank
Bradley,
you.
that's part of my design doc for a game I want to make that's multiplayer.
Yes.
Join me.
Make it because I want it.
That's true. Tyler has kind of, like, tossed around this class idea for a while. He's cooking. Let
good.
We're
let
like
him
you
cook.
even as like crafting, you can build up like a combat bricklayer class.
Ooh.
Yeah, you get to be the builder.
But that's my big one. That's like that's what I wanted.
My favorite thing was Game Boy Advance on the expansion pass. So
Whoa.
I might actually get that expansion pass.
People don't I don't think people give the Game Boy Advance enough credit for how insane the games were.
Bradley, we could legitimately play Amazing Mirror online.
Or player.
Wait, is
Online.
it gonna be in this pack?
Yeah.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Amazing Mirror's in there.
It's online.
Let's fucking go.
Dude,
That's the thing.
they have a great selection. They're already coming out with Minish Cap. I saw Amazing Mirror. I saw Metroid Fusion, so maybe I'll finally get around to Fusion since I
Oh
love
my
Dread so
God.
much. Yeah, I'm kind of into it. This might be the turning point that makes the expansion pass actually worth the extra money.
Dude, 2023 is the year of the Game Boy Advance,
Let's
and no one
fucking-
thought we would be saying
I
that,
mean,
but here we are.
with the Mega Man Battle Network collection coming out, yeah, it really
It kinda
is. It genuinely is.
So, dude, like the expansion pack has the Sega Genesis, the 64, GBA,
And GB Color.
the original. Yeah, like that seems like a pretty good thing to get.
All with online.
It's
on the
$50 a year. That's not bad.
Yeah, it would just be
Wait, it's Nintendo Switch Online is $20 a year.
24. Yeah.
Why do I pay $7 a month?
Wait, what are you doing? You fool!
I don't know.
Buy the yearly.
Why didn't I? What's going on?
I don't know.
What did I do?
But that aside, I like the new Virtual Console thing. There's a new game coming out by the Danganronpa guy, and every time it comes up, I'm like, hey, I'm really into this. I hope this isn't cringe because
it looks cool. That's the thing. I'm just worried it's gonna have some cringe writing, but everything I see in the trailer makes me want to
Look, I was drafting my list of my top 100 games the other day for funsies because me and Joe we're cooking, and I will say the third Danganronpa game does make it into the list because despite the cringe, that guy's got some great ideas. So like, look, I know there's a big booby ghost witch and stuff, but I'm sure she's not gonna be cringy. This is gonna be the one. I believe.
I have some faith.
Would you rather have the big booby ghost or the 1,000-year-old girl that looks like a child?
Easily the big booby ghost.
The same.
Oh man, there's a game called Ultra Despair Girls, and there is some really sussy content in that game relating to young people. But anyways,
for me, the direct, it was the game you mentioned, Willer, the Professor Layton game that they announced. That makes me excited.
yeah, I might get into
think
Professor Layton because of this.
Yeah, and Ghost Trick also coming out. 'Cause I've
Guys.
never played Ghost Trick, but I've heard great things about it. and
Ghost
how,
Trick
like,
has one of the most bonkers plot twists I've ever seen. It's so
No
cool.
way.
And it's so unique. Ghost Trick came out as like the game of the. We do the guess the game every day. It's guessthegame.com. Go have some fun. Ghost Trick came up the other day. Nobody but me and Joe knew what the fuck it was. That game is super fun.
Yeah, I saw the first image. I was like, "Is this Ghost Trick?" And then the second one came. I was like, "Oh, this is fucking Ghost Trick."
It's got one of the greatest video game dogs of all time. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like that other weird detective RPG. It actually,
the JRPG.
it looks janky, but I like detective games, so I'm probably gonna check that out. But I won't check out the other detective game because that one looks less interesting. With the Joe called it a 999 like game. I was like, no, this is not. Just because it has
had the timeline where you can see the different branches of how things could go.
Yeah, but it needs to have that dread to be a 999 game, you know? It's kind of
probably also doesn't have escape rooms.
Exactly, for the better. And Tyler, I can guess what your favorite was.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh.
It's got to be the Prime remake, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Easy.
That is so cool.
It looks really good. Like the visuals have been very improved.
Like Metroid Prime kind of aged really well. I don't know. Like Metroid Prime goes down as one of the best games ever made.
Well,
like,
damn.
I say that factually, both from a biased and professional opinion.
Well, there you go. You heard it here. And I might check this out. Again, Dread got me into Metroid, and I hope that like I enjoy. Because if I get that expansion pass, I'm gonna boot up Fusion. I'm gonna see what the fuck's up.
Dude, back in the day, me and my buddies legitimately would do 4-player versus Metroid Prime 2, and it was fucking fun.
That was neat.
So, let's move away from the direct if nobody has anything else to say. Oh, Breath of the Wild's coming out, and I like how no one brings it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just assume everybody knows the news.
I'm gonna get it for its $70 pricing on its shitty hardware, but I'm not gonna lie if Genshin and Elden Ring combination didn't take the wind out of the sails, because I did not see anything particularly new looking.
That's the thing. I was looking forward to this game way more before those two games you mentioned came out.
Yeah. So we'll see. Still gonna pick it up, but I'm not blown away by any of the footage, if I'm being unfortunately honest. Joe, we watched The Green Knight, the movie.
Yo, this might be one of my new favorite movies. I really, really like this movie a lot.
This movie is so cool. It is. Ooh, Joe, I'll let you take the bulk of this one.
Yeah. So the story of the Green Knight is this is set in King Arthur's court in the realm of Camelot. Once upon a time, the titular Green Knight visited King Arthur's court, and on Christmas Day to challenge any knight within his table to challenge him to a duel. If a knight is able to hit him or nick him, as he says, he will win his battle axe. However, on Christmas Day of the next year, he will in turn give the same hit back to the knight that did such a blow. The story stars Sir Gawain.
Gawain. Yeah,
Gawain. He who is not really a knight. He's more of a squire or a knight in waiting kind of a thing. And when he fights the Green Knight yields and like kneels, and he cuts off his head, only to stand right back up and is like, "All right, see you in a year," and rides off.
And this is the first like 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, and like in the first 15 minutes of the movie, we have witches casting a fucking spell to summon this thing. This tree motherfucker that is the Green Knight show up on horseback. King Arthur's wife starts speaking in tongues.
As she's like reading the Green Knight's letter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Merlin does some like mind magic shit.
The Merlin scenes are so weird and cool, even though there's barely any.
All right. I'm gonna step away. This movie sounds lit as fuck.
It is incredibly. No, stay. We're not gonna spoil anything. We're just talking about the first 15.
Yeah. So like, this movie's it's just a great coming of age story, and like I think what's great about this movie is that like I think in a lot of like fantasy medieval movies and nowadays they try to make it very grounded and real as like, is this a fantasy? Is it not a fantasy? This is like, no, this shit is real. and this person lives in this world, and like they take it very much like they take it very seriously.
The world
And-
became a much more boring place in the 600th century when all
Yeah.
the stuff that happened in this movie just disappeared.
Wait,
And-
this is an A24 movie?
Yes, no, this
Fuck
is
yeah.
excellent.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I when I came to this movie and I was talking to Willer about this after we watched it, I came in thinking it was gonna be a very dreadful movie, a movie that was very slow and kind of just like very sad.
No.
I think this movie has a very optimistic like feel to it, although it's very
Joe,
lonely.
did you know people interpret that ending different from us? I thought it was so
Yes.
clear.
Yeah, I thought I looked because I read the Reddit thread and
Yeah.
people like were really having a discussion about it.
Yeah, interesting, huh? But like,
Yeah.
Joe and I both love the ending of this movie so much.
Yeah. We were sitting there and we were like watching the ending. It's like, is it gonna really end this way? And then it cuts to like a 3-minute scene and it ended. We were like, that's fucking fantastic. It's one of the best endings to a movie I think I've seen. It has one of the best lines because it has a double meaning to it.
Yes.
It's really just great in general.
It's,
I don't want to spoil much about it,
No,
but
no.
like it's really
What I will
it's
say,
a very surreal movie.
as I was watching this movie refuses to not be beautiful. Every
Yes.
single freaking frame looks gorgeous.
Mhm.
It's so well shot, and the vistas are so beautiful. This movie made me want a Soulsborne Elden Ring adaptation of some sort, because this is the exact tone that I want from a Souls like film, and I didn't know I wanted it until I was watching it. Where it's these beautiful vistas. He's even walking by Elden Ring dungeons, and me and Joe are like, "There's loot in there. Go back!" And
He runs into patches.
he runs into like NPCs that are like, "Oh, this is what I want, a lonely adventure in these weird vistas, doing supernatural things and running into weirdo NPCs." So suddenly, I want this guy to make a like Dark Souls or Elden Ring movie. I think it'd be awesome.
And multiple times, me and Willer throughout the movie, over seeing through, it was like, this movie's fucking sick. Like it's just shit would happen, and you'd be like, this is so cool.
You'll know if you like this movie by the end of that first scene. Because it gives you a nice little taste of what's to come. Highly recommend it to you too. I think you guys will like it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There is one thing that was a bit shocking about the movie. I don't know if I want to talk about it, but it's the lack of something in the movie.
Yes. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. I don't mind it at all either.
I'm used to movies like that.
Yeah, but like for the setting of which this takes place, I was shocked that it lacked that one thing.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's like a solid 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever you want to give it. Movie, in my opinion. I was like,
on my Letterboxd, I gave it a 4.5 stars.
Yes. Also, I thought it's 2 hours. Doesn't really feel like it.
It flies.
Yeah. It's good. Crazy, and it's one of those movies where like I finished it. I mean, I went like, I want to go watch that again because there's so much you can glean from like what people are saying. Also, I highly recommend you watch this with subtitles on.
I was just thinking that, dude.
Yeah, like because like me and Willard got through that first scene, we're like, what the fuck? And we had as soon as the queen started talking in tongue, we're like, hold on, we need to know what they're saying.
Oh man, yeah. Me and Joe were sitting on this for a while. We're like, hey Joe, we're gonna watch The Green Knight together. No breaking from that. And we eventually just found some time and made it happen.
Yeah.
Delightful. Joe, you also watched The Lighthouse, which we forgot to talk about very quickly. You didn't like that movie as much, which makes you a bad person.
I think, God, my opinion about The Lighthouse is so weird because I was going into the movie with like perception of like there's going to be like this intensity to it that's going to be like very like I'd like a lot of stress to it. I just didn't get that sense when I watched it. Like I totally get it about the loneliness and the theme of like dominance and male relationships and like I think it's a great movie. That movie is awesome. It's shot fantastically well. It's got some great visuals. It was resonating on a frequency that I just wasn't at, I think, if that makes sense. Like
I think you've been watching too many of the intense A24 movies.
Maybe.
and this one's more of a character study.
It is. It's a great character study. It's definitely a movie where I watched, I was like, that was good. I don't want to watch it again. Not because like it freaked me out, but just because like for me going through the movie was a slog. Like I had to like actively like just trying to like keep things up. Now, like going through that movie, I had a completely different lens on like watching it originally. I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then when the movie finished, I thought I was like, oh, okay, I understand now where it was going with all these other uh metaphors and symbols and whatnot. That made me like it a lot more. But I don't know. It really didn't like hit me as much as I wanted it to be.
But
I
Joe,
think it's still
you
a
like
good.
Me Lobster, don't you?
What's up?
You like Me
Yeah.
Lobster, don't you?
You know, no, I don't.
How'd you like the mermaid pussy?
Now, I do want to say something. I think Willem Dafoe is actually insane, like partially. Like,
I heard there's a movie where they have to get a cock stunt double because his is so big, and I was like, yeah, that adds up.
Maniac, I think is the name of it.
It's so funny. That man's a treasure.
That guy is a really good actor, though, but I do think he's partially insane, because he just acts like crazy people so well that it's actually kind of scary. But man, great dialogue in that movie. The scene where like the guy comes in and he's like, "We were supposed to leave today." He's like, "What are you talking about? It's been weeks. They missed us."
Oh,
Was
I mean,
that's a
that was a bit of an anxiety spike for me.
yeah, oh yeah. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, Lighthouse is a really good movie. It just wasn't like a movie I would mark down as one of my favorites, I think, but I still think like in general it's a great movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well then,
But yeah, go watch Green Knight. All you should watch Green Knight and probably Lighthouse, but like of those two, Green
you
Knight
should
I
watch
think
The
is
Lighthouse too. That's a Willer take there. They're
Yeah.
both very good.
Yeah.
Joe, we played Y.O.M.I Hustle. Tyler played this as well.
This seems like the game Torabash wishes it was.
Wait, we haven't played this with Bradley yet. Bradley, come on.
I don't have it yet.
It's like $5.
I don't even have $5. I'm waiting for my paycheck to hit.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever need an advance, you want to play some Yomi Hustle with me, do it. It is a turn-based fighting game.
Yeah.
And Tyler jumped on and went through a struggle that we've all gone through, and you could talk a little bit about that if you want, Tyler. Which is just being completely confused when you jump in.
Tyler dead. Tyler's dead.
He gone.
But
Oh,
yeah,
what did you say? I couldn't hear you actually.
Oh shit.
I was talking about your jumping into Yomi Hustle.
Yeah, like I did hear you say that. I just didn't hear you actually say anything else towards me. Oh man, I need new headphones.
Well, this game looks off the goddamn chain.
It was funny because I saw it and I messaged Austin. I was like, hey, we should play this Saturday night when I get back. And so he was like, all right, I bought it. And so we bought it. And then Willer was just like, he posted about it. He's like, game you just bought and your friends who own it. And he was like, real shit? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea you guys were picking it up.
Yeah.
Games, it was, I don't think I was that frustrated. I just think y'all were really bad at explaining what the fuck was going on.
No, we weren't,
'Cause
because we went through the same arc as you.
I had to ask the same question about 5 times before I understood what they were saying.
We gave the answer the 5 times, but Tyler, you gotta understand, I learned without anyone trying to explain it. I just had to fucking press the button.
Yeah, but y'all were playing like an hour before I got there, so I was like, oh, they'll know what these things are. And so I got frustrated because y'all weren't answering my question.
I know Robot, because that's all I've known up to that point. And so the game works on, like, it's all about frame data, but it's turn-based. Basically, like a fighting game, your moves have frame data depending on if they whiff, if they hit, or if they're blocked, and you can see your frame advantage at any point. It's actually a really good tool that teach you frame data. And it's kind of unintuitive because, like, you get control next time you have, like, you're at neutral.
Yeah.
But also, like, what I found weird is if you wait or if you block, you don't get control next frame either.
Yeah.
Well,
blocking has negative frames, which is weird.
And so that took me a while to get used to.
Yeah. Also, you can't hold block, which is also weird.
I was holding block.
Oh, were you? I've not figured it
Now,
out.
do you mean
like,
you can't do consecutive blocks?
Yeah.
Huh. I never noticed, but what's fun is, like, This game, it's like you're playing super chess. The characters have a lot of moves. I've played like 11, 12, 13 games of Robot at this point, and there's some moves of his that I still don't know like when or how to use because there's just so many.
Yeah.
However, every character has very unique things going on. Like I can turn on what I've learned to do with Robot is fly cancels, so you can like land a combo and then use some of your fly meter to like move at a very weird angle to keep the combo going. And you can also use that defensively. He's also got armor. The wizard has so many air mobility options.
Oh my god.
The cowboy has. I don't know, Tyler, explain the gun throwing mechanic because I don't know what's happening.
You throw your gun, and what it does is it locks you like. You throw your gun. It knocks you back, the enemy back, and if it does knock the enemy back, the gun will automatically home in and shoot them in midair to give them another knockback.
Oh, so it's a easy combo tool, but at the cost of your gun.
But the cowboy has another gun mechanic where like you just shoot the gun, and if you get the shot off, you then have a choice of either like do a follow-up shot with like you can like fan the hammer, or you can like put your gun away as like a feint, basically.
At least on a beginner level, Cowboy seems overtuned, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Cowboy, I was having trouble with him because I don't think I was teleporting enough.
Oh no, yeah, you gotta do that.
That's the thing. Anytime I have like a read on Cowboy, it's like, well, but I'm clicking through the options and he can teleport away from this. Like no matter what I could do, he can teleport away.
I mean, that's kind of his super though. Like he has a teleport non-super, but it has bigger frame. Yeah, more frame.
Yeah.
More frame, more good. I guess you're supposed to wait. I think he's a character where waiting is important.
Yes, I think so too. You gotta wait till he like does something and then you can counteract him. But
you can counteract the
impale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, it makes me want to play. I'll say, like, for anyone who doesn't know how it works, and for Bradley, when you jump into the game, you are just given so much UI, and it's very confusing. But the way it works is, like, one side is the things you can do. The other side is everything your opponent can currently do as well. And you're supposed to click on your option and then their option, and you're supposed to, like, kind of reason out which one will beat which. But because your opponent will have a couple of different options given their state, you need to account for all of them, and you'll realize rock, paper, scissors that are kind of natural in fighting games that you don't really think about, but you get to see them and analyze, like, yeah, but if he does this one, it'll beat this action that beats the other action, so I should go for a safer action, and then you just try to out-mind game the other opponent for a long time.
Yeah. I do think the rounds in this game, or I guess just the one round in the game, it's like I feel like you have a lot of health. But this is also coming from someone who plays Guilty Gear mainly. Like, it's just like I feel like the rounds go on forever. Like that's my issue with the game.
I don't think they all go on forever, but they're still too long by a little bit, even like the normal rounds. Because Joe was doing a wizard versus wizard mirror where y'all didn't know the combos, so it's just a lot of missiling around and shooting projectiles.
That being said, though, I did get a sick combo off in the corner that was fucking nasty.
Because the real thing is, once your match is complete, you can play it in full time, and you get to make flash stick figure fights with these characters, and it looks so dope. All your replay save.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's like the highlight of the game for me, is that you get these sick like replays that like you're able to make, and like it's. Like, there's one where, like, I was fighting our friend Austin, and he was playing Ninja, and I was doing Cowboy, and it just ended up, like, with us, like, teleporting and dashing all over the place, and, like, in order to dodge some attacks, we'd have to, like, use our moves that just shut us in the air, so at one point, like, Austin's, like, doing an attack combo, and I get one window opportunity, so it's just really funny, because, like, I'll be midway through hit, and then suddenly, like, I turn around and start flying away with my sword.
But that's so fun. It's definitely the highlight. And I read that the dude was wanting to add 2 characters or so. I kind of hope that it was successful enough to where he adds a few more. Because I feel like with a big roster, this would get like nutty and would have way more future longevity.
Yeah.
But here's hoping. The lobby system, it's clearly like indie dev, but it works well. Like I don't have many problems with it.
Yeah. You just gotta keep jumping in and out until you find someone that's waiting for a match.
Not too bad for the price, by any means.
Yeah.
If any of that
$5.
sounds interesting, pick it up for $5.
Yeah.
Joe, go ahead. Talk about One Piece Odyssey. I know you've been fuming to do this.
I did not like One Piece Odyssey. I really didn't, which is unfortunate. To start it off, some of the things that I really did like, I think the multi-area system in the game is really, really cool.
That was really cool.
I think that's a great JRPG mechanic, and I think it should be implemented more, because it really gave that sense of like having to deal with stuff as like
a team,
different characters individually, and like having to like use some ranged areas. I think that opens up a lot of design options of like, this one's a ranged attack, but this one isn't. So you have to really think about like what you want to do, and if you want to sacrifice trying to take down a guy in your zone to save another person's zone. And I think that's a really good mechanic. I think the animations in this game are really good. Everyone, like, all the attacks look awesome. At least on the crew side of things. Like they look like pretty good to the series. They feel very like loyal to what they're drawn to. I like the dialogue between the crew. I think the crew dialogue itself is like really, really good, which is a bit shocking because sometimes when you have like a different writer or you have a different set of writers write for a IP, it's really easy for them to not get that chemistry right. But I think they did a really good job of doing that.
I agree. Pretty solid job there.
Yeah,
and I get genuine laughs from especially the side stories, which Joe didn't mess around with. There's some really funny dialogue there.
Yeah. On the flip side of things, the things that I really didn't like is, and this is where I think Willer is going to be like, I don't agree with you, that is that like I feel like a lot of the moves are just pretty redundant when you get down to it. Like there's not enough variety in what the moves do other than like this one is stronger and costs a little bit more, like tension bar. It's like, okay, but that to me is not really interesting from an RPG mechanic. I hate the progression system in this game. Like it's story locked, so like by the time you only unlock moves as you progress the story, and I think that's like the cool part of the game is you get to these really cool like moves that are like signatures to the characters. I would have liked to see that more if they were a little bit more spread out, like you did some side stories to unlock some stuff, or you use the cubes you collect or the experience you collect to like unlock moves and have like a tree to do. I really, really did not like the progression system in this game at all. It made me just want to go. I just want to go through the story because it means I get to unlock more moves and I get to do more stuff. I also think that I think the game feels very front end of like they literally start at the beginning of the game, and then about the time Water 7 comes around, they go, oh shit, we have to ship in a year. Everything else needs to be really toned down, and that goes for the moves too because there's not like as many like Gear 4 moves, and like Gear 4 isn't even like a state, it's just a move that you do and then you're done. Like you don't get to stay in Bounce Man, for example, and I think that's a really like disappointing thing, especially when Pyre Warriors lets you do it. And I really don't like that. I think the guest system in the game I also really hate, and I hate that in like all RPGs. Like, and I feel guests. What'd you say?
I love guests.
I really don't. Like, I'd rather them just be, I'm fine with them being temporary party members, but like I want to be able to control them and like do their moves in the game and being able to like fit them in some way in my party, like even if it's just for that area. And it feels just very much like, this person is here, they get to do their moves, but you have no control over them, so you don't really get to like utilize them the best you possibly can.
I think straight up, Audio should have been a party member, just like fully fledged as like a honorary Straw Hat for the arc. I think that would have been cool.
Have you beat the game yet?
No.
Okay.
I have just recently beat the Water Colossus. I'm taking it slow and chill.
Okay.
And
yeah, there's a reason why he's not the party member.
All right, Joe. G. Still, look. other RPGs have party members that will betray you. Have you ever played a Persona before? Like,
yeah. I also think that like I would rather of them either A, do a full retelling of the story. So we start in Alabasta and we make our way through things and we get more loyal redemptions of the story, or B, you really go in with like a what if scenario of like, what if things change? Like, for example, in Alabasta, like the Straw Hats never get to fight Robin, but I think it would have been really fun if there was like a Robin mini boss fight that you have to go and do because she was on the enemy side. Or, for example, like they know that the bomb is there. If Crocodile somehow figured out that they already know about the bomb, so now he sets the bomb off early, and you have to try to like work on a ticking clock like that. And it feels like they're trying to do too much in the middle of the road, and like it kind of is just frustrating because it's like either A, do something that's different that comes up with a new scenario that the Straw Hats have to deal with, or B, stick pretty close to the source material and, you know, maybe throw in those Baroque work members that people fought, so that way like there's like you get the sense of going on that adventure again. And I really was just not, it just was something that was rubbing me the wrong way. It's a very small thing. And then there's just a bunch of other really small JRPG gripes that I have, which is just like you finish the cutscene, you walk 5 feet, and then another cutscene immediately starts. You walk into a room and you've already solved the puzzle, but because you didn't talk to a person in another room, you have to go all the way back to that room, talk to them, and then that puzzle is now complete, and then you can go back and do it.
I have not run into anything like that.
Oh my god, it happened to me so much. There's a part where Frankie has to build a bridge, and you're like, okay, cool. I walk over there and I build a bridge for Frankie. I'm like, sweet. I walk forward and like, no, wait. You need to go back and talk to that guy before you can go into this area. I'm like, why? Why is that thing? And like, I only have to walk 5 feet behind me, but it's an annoyance and just like I hate it so much.
That's such a minor gripe. I had to walk 5 feet behind me.
But it's the point of like it's padding, which is what my main complaint is that like it feels like there's just multiple occasions where we need to pad this out for time. So we're going to keep doing these small things where you're just constantly going back and forth between two people within like a small distance of each other, and they're just going through dialogue. Go ahead. And like it's stuff like that that makes it frustrating because it's like I want to keep going, I want to keep playing the game, but you keep stopping me from playing the game because I have to go back and do something that I already did. And I'm sure there's a few other things that I've missed, but like it just to me was like, and I go back and forth whether or not like if I would have liked this game more or less if it was a One Piece game. Like, because on one hand, it's like if it wasn't a One Piece game, I'd probably give it some benefit of the doubts of like where it is in scope, and like this is a pretty good first attempt for a new IP. But because it is a One Piece game, there are just some story elements and like other things that I really want to see that I just am frustrated I don't get to see, or it feels a little bit more hampered. And then at the same time, it's like I continue playing the game because I want to see those One Piece moves. I want to see Luffy do like Gear 4 and so on. And at the same time, like I don't think I'd have nearly as much of attachment to like seeing progression if it was not a One Piece game, if that makes sense.
I'll quickly highlight. I agree. They're very middle of the road sometimes, where it's like they're actually addressing some cool things, but they do it very quickly. So it's like, oh, Ace is in Alabasta, and the whole crew is like, Luffy, are you okay? You got to see Ace again. Like, how do you feel? And like, Luffy is of course like a pretty cheerful guy, so he rolls with it, and he's still happy to see Ace, even though like he's lost him before. So it's got stuff like that, but it brushes by quickly, and Robin's like, hey, I shouldn't hang out with y'all because the people in Alabasta know me as a criminal, and it'd be a bad vibe if they run into me and see you. But like, there's stuff like that. But then it's like it's done briefly, so it doesn't get the full impact. And then the side stories do some interesting things where they flesh out the islands in ways that I really like. Like stuff like helping Tom out getting his new secretary, which was like a minor cover page, but like you get to see like what Tom's day-to-day, not Tom, Iceberg. You get to see what Iceberg's day-to-day is like, so you get to help him out there. And stuff in Alabasta, like you help Eyelashes join the Duck Squad, which is like another minor thing that happens in a cover page at some point. Eyelashes the camel, that is. So you get to help him out there. So there's like really cute moments like that. But overall, the game's biggest flaw, and I still like this game. I'd still give it like a 3 stars rating. But it's just a slow game in general, where like cutscenes are slow, battles are fairly slow, movement is glacially slow.
God.
But to the credit of like, there's the movesets aren't the craziest things, but I also didn't expect this to be like an in-depth RPG, especially coming from Trails of Cold Steel, which was the last RPG I played. I was like, no, this is not going to be it. But what I do like is that every Straw Hat fills a niche, and like to me, the way that I strategically use them has merit, and like they do feel different from each other. The biggest problem is Zoro, where he is just like, he's your beat stick, and he's gonna make people bleed, and that is like his gimmick for at least as far as I've gotten.
That's the entire game.
But I feel like the other Straw Hats have a little more going on, and like they stand out from one another, which I think is the main thing that I needed.
I do think like the other thing I wish is that, well, I guess they are there. It's like I do think of one thing I didn't touch on that I really like is the it's like the tears and like the memory reality, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I did like 1 or 2 of those, and I did like those side stories. Like, this is fun. This is like a good like, and they forcibly break off crew members. So so like I'm like, this is what I want to see, is like the other combinations of crew members. Another gripe I have is that like there are like 2 crew members that are saved till the end of the game, and they don't feel nearly as fleshed out.
2?
One in particular doesn't feel nearly as fleshed
well, yeah,
out.
Brooke gets shafted in this game, but I've gotten Frankie early enough to where I don't think he's at the end of the game.
Yeah, sorry, Frankie. Saying that for Frankie is not true, but like Brooke for sure. It's just like it's not like Brooke has just showed up for the Straw Hat crew. It's been what, 10, 15 years since he's been with the Straw Hat crew.
Yeah. That should have been Jinbei. Like, if they shifted Jinbei or like that, I would have been okay, but he's just not in the game. That being said, like, I'm down for a DLC, and Joe probably won't play it like a DLC, but like a Whole Cake or Wano DLC would be sick to me. Because also, I really like the environments. I really like being in these worlds, and even talking to the NPCs, they flesh out the world in fun little ways, which is something where if you're rushing through the game, maybe you won't appreciate as much. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I could the thing is, I could totally understand why Joe does not like the game. Because I have similar gripes as well.
It's just
it could have been the one. It could have been the one.
A sequel to this would be awesome, but
that's the sad thing, is that if they make a sequel to this, I would still probably pick it up because I have hope that they could make a better game. But it makes me go like, I just really want a game where, like, let's do the game, let's do the story of One Piece, even if it's just like all the way up to like Marineford as like the first game, but like give me control of like how I build my characters.
I'm with you, and like I would like this would be a great system. It just feels weird, and because they can't do this gimmick again, because the gimmick of the memory world only exists because Lim is on this island. So it's like, hey, Lim, what are you doing in this next island we're in after Egghead? So that won't work. So I would like this studio to get another shot, do that, and just like reuse the assets for Alabasta and Water 7 and Dressrosa. Like just I give you the pass, reuse them, flesh out some of those other islands, add in some of the weirder fights.
Down Alabasta by like 1 zone maybe.
Alabasta is a little long. Everything should have been the length of Water 7 in my opinion.
Water 7 was like perfect size, I think. But
anywho, we've talked a little bit too long about this, but I will still beat this game for sure. I'm moving slowly, and you'll hear about it on a quick talk in the future.
It just was, for me, it was like there's a lot of small things here that I think are very easy design fixes, and they just weren't made and were kind of used for padding, which is that in the progression system is just baffling to me.
I do also think all the bosses need like one more gimmick. Like, for example, Crocodile should drain your health, and Mr. 2 should transform to lower the stats of your party members, stuff like that. I think a Smoker should. He might already do this, but he should do like heavy damage to Devil Fruit users with his like baton stick and stuff like that. But that's not quite how they decided to do it, which is a shame.
I think also different like elevational aspects would be a really cool addition too, where like you're on one
we're Final Fantasy Tactics now.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really good way of doing stuff. There's a lot of things of improvement here. Overall, I would say wait for this game until it goes down to like $30-$40. I would not I would not say spend
For
full
sure.
amount on this
And
game.
if you get this game, do not grind whatsoever. It's actually
Oh.
fairly fun and has some difficulty
Yeah.
spikes if you just blow through it like me and Joe are.
Yeah.
Because even me taking my time, I don't fight shit.
It's oh my god, Red Hawk, yeah, is fucking busted. It's actually crazy.
I guess we'll see. Anyways,
Yeah.
we need to move on. That was Bradley. Very quickly, you've been replaying 13 Sentinels, and I just want to hear 13 Sentinels name come out of your mouth. I just want to hear some of the characters' names.
Dude, the game is still good, man. I love all the characters. I think everyone has character stories that they like to gravitate towards their first time around, and I think the first time around it was Natsuno, and the second time around it was Natsuno again.
She's so good.
I really love it, and I think Ninji is still the one where you even warned me the first time I played it. You're like, Bradley, when people play this game, when they try Ninjas, they just kind of do it all the way through in one go, and
I don't know what it is about them. I don't know what it is.
But man, the big thing I was talking with you about this game is, and you seem to think the same thing, where normally such heavily story-based mystery games you would think have less replay value sometimes, but this one, it's kind of just as good the second time around as it is the first time around, because so much shit happens in this game you can't possibly remember it. So some of the big reveals that got me the first time around got me the second time around too.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And you're coming close on refinishing it, right?
Yeah, we're really, really close. And you know what? Here's the big difference is I remember when the Switch version came out, and you said the changes carried over to the PlayStation version as well now.
Yes.
There were some combat changes, and I found myself using characters in combat that I didn't really before. I think they made Juro more fun? Question mark?
Juro's pretty crazy, but like, some of the other characters are I don't know, but Juro's got some good stuff too. Everyone got better except for Ryoko, who is she got completely different. Unless they've buffed the turrets in the PS version, the turrets got heavily nerfed because everyone was just spamming turrets. But
I noticed I think they're a little less OP.
But what she does have is she just gets to brainwash enemies now, which makes her completely different from every other character.
I know, that's like such a unique ability.
So it works out. She's not broken, but she's fun.
So I'm really glad I'm replaying it on Switch, so that way I can play the 10,000 billion bonus missions handheld.
I know. It sucks because I've made equal progress in those missions on the Switch and the PlayStation, and now that the PlayStation got like the patches to it, it's like, oh dang it, which one do I play?
I know.
Because there's some nights where it's like, I don't feel like doing anything else. I feel like listening to a podcast or some music. I'm gonna throw in 2 or 3 13 Sentinels missions.
Hell yeah!
And that's exactly how I progress through those. They're just like, they're like doing a round of Pyre Warriors or the Hyrule Warriors, where it's just like, yeah, let's just go ham for a little bit.
I am really just waiting for this studio to make something else so I can buy it day one.
Yeah, whatever they make, I'm there day one.
Didn't something get announced from Vanillaware?
Yes, they're remaking Grim Grimoire, which I've never played, so I'm gonna pick that shit up. But I also want their next. I want their latest and greatest. If they can top 13 Sentinels, that's like an almost impossibility in my mind.
There's no way. They would give me a heart attack.
It's too much. Joe, you were gonna say something briefly, and then we were still on thought.
I was.
No, you weren't. I lied.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 13 Sentinels has. Really like the combat and actual gameplay of that game, so it's a good game.
Yeah. What about the story, Joe?
And that's also good too, but like that combat really sold me on the game. I'm gonna be real honest with you.
Oh yeah, that's what you said back then.
Yeah.
So we can resubmit 13 Sentinels in. It's been on the podcast, and we already know where it'll be. It'll be top 1 to make up for that top 3 year. So get ready.
You know.
What you think? You think Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna beat a re-examination of 13 Sentinels? Get that shit out of here. Though unfortunately, I do have to talk about the game of the year right now.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about Hi-Fi Rush.
This looks awesome.
Hi-Fi Rush is one of the craziest drops in gaming history to me. I woke up one morning. Bethesda had like a direct, which of course no one watched. In it, they talked about this game and how it was shadow dropping that day. This game has never been mentioned before. This is made by the same devs as The Evil Within, and it's technically the same studio as Studio Clover. A lot of those people carried over. Studio Clover is the team, was a sub-team of Capcom in the aughts that made games like Okami and God Hand and Beautiful Joe. And if you know that and you look at this game, you're like, oh, this is a Studio Clover game. Like, they're picking up right where they left off. This game is something else, man. It looks gorgeous, first of all. It's got a great art style. Really good use of, like, cel shading and cartoonish looks. And the way that this game works is every single thing in the game is moving to the beat of the track of the stage. So that includes your character's idle stance, your character's walk, your character's run. Every single background element pulses to the beat of the song.
It's like Crypto the Necrodancer, but an action game.
Exactly. And more importantly, all your attacks and all your enemy attacks, and even the cutscenes, are synced to the beat of the song. So the way it works is, if you press light or heavy attack, the attack will come out on the beat. No matter when you press it, it's going to come out on the next beat. So say I can somehow mash square or X to do, that would be Xbox X, to do a light attack. Say I can mash it 20 times in a millisecond, I will still only get one light attack because it'll come out on the beat. So that the way that it works is you're supposed to time your presses to the beat to get damage bonuses, and also it's part of your Devil May Cry ranking system. So what that makes is a Devil May Cry game that plays like Crypto the Necrodancer and has heavy Beautiful Joe influence. And it's just like one of my new favorite things out of nowhere. I just woke up one morning and this existed.
It really
magical.
just kind of came out of nowhere. I had never heard of it.
Literally.
You talked about it.
Bradley,
and then
it literally came out of nowhere. It just spawned one day. How were they working on this peak fiction for so long and like not a peep came out? I am fawning over these devs right now. This is like the peak of development where it's like you're making something fresh, brand new, with no hype. It just comes out one day. It's only $30 and it's on Game Pass. So it like I get the feeling that this game was heavily undervalued by some executive in Microsoft, where they're like, oh, it's a cartoony action game that you can beat in a couple of hours. You can beat it under 12 hours.
They didn't realize what they were sitting on.
No, they didn't. So they're like, make it for Game Pass, you peasants. It sucks so much that whoever wants this game among this podcast, I will buy you a copy because I will buy it twice, and that's the price of what this game should have been, which is $50 or $60.
Dude, I'm just looking through like the Steam screenshots also, and like just all the like, even like the particle effects and everything looks so cool. They have like that comic booky like dots and stuff.
When you finish a match with those particle effects coming off and the game slows down, it looks incredible. And here's another thing. So we talked about Bayonetta. Love Bayonetta for the combat, but you know that story was awful. And Joe loves to repeat the famous line. And it's like it also visually looked awful. So it's like this just kicks Bayonetta's ass on almost every front. Where it's like maybe the combat isn't as complex, but it's equally as fun. Because of that, like you get so many moves. You get like Marvel vs. Capcom assists. And you're fighting to the beat the whole time. And there's so much post-game content. I play a little bit of this game every day, where it's like, okay, today I'm going to S-rank this mission on this difficulty, because the achievement wall is daunting. If I get 100% on this game, it's going to be my greatest gaming achievement I think I've ever done. So I'm going for it, and it's going well. It doesn't seem like it'll take too long. It'll probably take like 40 or 50 hours, assuming I can do the hardest difficulty S ranks. But what's nice is, like a Devil May Cry game or a Bayonetta game, you go into a battle and it's like you go into a level and there's a set number of battles, and you can restart that battle if you see you got a bad rank right at the end. So I basically just get to retry those battles as many times as I need. But it's super addicting. And what it has over Bayonetta is a story that pretty much everybody universally likes the story of this game. It is so much fun. I've likened it to a Saturday morning cartoon, and it's got that vibe with just a little bit of a adult kick. The main character is like Fry from Futurama, but like a wannabe rock star. He's incredibly lovable, and your party of friends is so likable. The villain cast is phenomenal. They're all so great. There's a guy who is trying to set the record for JoJo poses per second, where he is just cycling through genuine JoJo poses and doing like it. It's not even like accidental JoJo posing. It is so on the nose. It is so intentional that it's hilarious. This game also has licensed music, so you'll get like some Nine Inch Nails songs, some like songs from. So that's the most prominent one. But there's like a Japanese band that's in this. There's a couple of other bands that you'll see, but also there's a streamer mode with equally good original songs for if anyone's streaming or if you just prefer those. So they kind of popped off with the music. This game has realigned my brain where I will do certain things in real life to the beat, and I'm like, oh, I have to catch myself. Like, what was I just doing? Like, that is not normal. Y'all, you need to play this game because, like, Bethesda Xbox exclusive is the game of the year currently, and I can think of one potential game that's going to dethrone it for me. So just put that in your top 5 predictions by the end of the year. I don't think, like, the only thing that could beat it maybe is Final Fantasy 16 for me. I'm trying to look at everything else announced, but...
Is 16 coming this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
What if Elden Ring 2 also dropped this year?
Ain't no way.
Now, Elden Ring DLC, like, that's accounting for stuff announced. Now, other surprise drops could get me. I will say nothing in the Nintendo Direct is probably going to top this, aside maybe that Danganronpa game if it's really good. Yeah, y'all, come on. Who do I have to buy this game for to play it? Because I need someone else to talk to about it. It's so good.
This is one I plan on playing because honestly, around the time it came out, I had my GameCube games out, and I was looking through the stack, and I saw Beautiful Joe, and I was like, fuck, how long has it been since I played Beautiful Joe? And then this game came out, and I saw you talking about it. I'm like, you know, same energy.
It is the same energy. And you can see I'm doing that Willer Gush thing that I did for 13 Sentinels in Amori, where it's like, I just really love a game. Now, it's probably not 13 Sentinels in Amori tier, but it's like right below. It's like, it's there. This is my second favorite character action game after Devil May Cry 5 now.
Which is saying something.
Because it's so hard to top Devil May Cry 5, but like, it's right up there, and it just came out, brand new IP. I will take any DLC. I love the fan art in the community. Like, I'm looking forward to mods and stuff. The character customization after the game. You get to customize your characters in such cute little outfits. It's so fun.
It's kind of unreal that it's only $30 in 2023.
No, you play this and like, sure, you'll beat it quickly, but that's every character action game. It's all about the replayability and how much you can do after. And yeah, I've already put in like 25, 30 hours, and I beat this game like under 10 hours in. I just keep playing more and more. I will say, here's the thing, and this might be a breaker for Joe and Bradley. This game is an Xbox exclusive, so you can realistically only play it on Steam because no one's going to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Is that a deal breaker for you guys? I will say it runs well on my laptop. My laptop's pretty beefy, but I also
Why is it a deal breaker?
Because some people don't like playing a game like this on their computer, like me.
That's what the Steam Deck is for.
Yeah, I would prefer to play on my PlayStation because I get to sit on the couch and play it with a controller.
Oh, that's not that wild, is it, Tyler? Like, some people just don't like sitting down on their computers to...
Unbelievable.
Especially a game that you play with a controller.
Yeah.
I know that's how you play games, but like, it's pretty common for people to like couch and bed gaming.
Yeah, I don't like to sit in my office chair all day. As comfortable as it is.
Now, I did play this on the Steam Deck, like Bradley said. Yes.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say it's on my list to get. It's just literally whether or not I get people. My job gives me money.
Fair.
That's about it.
Now, despite that, this game is so good that I actually do play it on my computer because I need the headphones to S-rank the missions because I need that extra boost. So unfortunately, it's like I played through the main journey on my Steam Deck and it was fantastic. I had it hooked up to the television, so I played it like a PlayStation game. and the min specs are fairly reasonable, so I don't think you need something crazy to run this. However, I now like I've been waking up early, so like about 40 minutes before work, I'm like, okay, let's bang out a quick mission, and then I roll into the workday, and it's been like a routine for the past week or so. Yeah, I know Tyler, you were looking to buy this game as well.
I am. You know, I need time.
I think you would enjoy it once you get a chance.
I think I'll enjoy it once I get time.
Yeah, once you get a chance.
All
right.
right. Speaking of chances, you know, mid-May is looking pretty good right now.
Mid-May
Yeah, mid-May.
for.
Getting to the time.
Oh, okay, yes. I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, mid-May looks pretty good. That's the adult life, you know? You're just
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
getting to play a game like 4 months after it comes out.
it's just 3 months, you know.
Yeah.
Now, hey,
Maybe I'll get to finish P5R.
Any day now. What's nice though, Tyler, is that this game is short. So if you want to just bang out the main story, I will also say, for you guys, you should probably play this on normal. I played it on hard, but I also play like a lot of character action games. This game is kind of punishing at times.
I'm gonna play on harder difficulty than Willard, just so he.
Okay.
he
No,
yeah.
you're a cool guy. I'm just saying you've never
I-
played Bayonetta or DMC, so you might struggle. But if you want,
You just gotta press the B button at the right time. That's it.
sure. I mean, he's actually right because the enemies attack on the beat, and the B button is parry by default. So if you can parry everything, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you just gotta press the B button at the right time. Like, I played the game.
Yep.
Joe, tell me about the Dead Space remake that you just swallowed like a Kirby enemy.
Oh,
Did.
I'm gonna unzip my pants while Joe talks about this one.
Whoa.
Okay, well, keep it to yourself.
Self maintenance.
Dead Space remake came out, and where do I start with this? I should first of all mention that I did not get the opportunity to play the original Dead Space because I did not own.
Oh, you were just. That was just a treat. That's just a treat, ain't it?
That's
I was not able to play it because when it came out, it was an Xbox exclusive, and I didn't have an Xbox yet at the time. So I played most of Dead Space 2. So I got to play this. This is literally my first run through the entire game. So I can't really speak on like the adjustments or differences to the story at all. I do know that some significant gameplay changes that they made. But that being said, I think this is Dead Space is like one of the most unique and great like survival horror games like out there. I think like even like I love BioShock, I love Resident Evil, but like Dead Space is like it's so different and lives in its own little like kind of water of like how you have to approach that game. And I really enjoyed the experience. The remake does a really like graphically looks amazing, and I played a little bit of Dead Space 1 when it came out on PC, and number one, that game is incredibly old looking. But number two, like it wasn't really dark. It was just kind of dark. In this game, it is pitch fucking black.
Yes.
Like straight up, I came to a point like where I opened a door and it was darkness, and I was like, that could lead to literally my death, or it could just be like nothing, and I have no idea because it's just black.
Were you? I've heard this game is fairly scary. Did you get spooked?
Oh my god. I was getting spooked like immediately, and part of it isn't like necessarily like creepy gore factor. It's more of just like the stressful situation of playing the game and how it's allocated. Because like if you don't know what the gimmick of Dead Space is that like it does the inverse of what you usually do against like zombie games, where it's like you can't just aim for the head, you have to cut the enemies apart like limb from limb. Yeah, strategically. Which makes a really intense game of like this thing is running towards me. I need to cut its leg off. Oh god, the legs keep going behind it. How do I get it? And so you're just you can really panic easily, which is a great feeling to have.
A lot of the enemies, Willer, look like the Void Demon. How the Void Demon impact is described.
I've actually seen a lot of footage of Dead Space. It always seemed like one of the coolest like third-person shooters to me.
I think
I think if you play like Hi-Fi Rush, Metroid Prime, and Dead Space this year, it's like that's a unique set of games.
Yeah.
And I'm
I'll be dated by that.
But the game, like, I think it does a great job of just establishing its atmosphere. And I think another thing, bro, is that like Isaac Clarke's protagonist is a really good like protagonist to be in this game because he's like a military engineer. So like he has some sort of like military-ish background. Like he works on spaceships, right?
Yeah,
so he has
Isaac's
to have,
He's just an engineer.
yeah.
yeah, but like even if you're doing a spaceship, like usually I believe if I remember in some lore, like you still have to have some sort of like training to do it.
Basics.
Yeah, like even if you're like a Navy engineer, like you still go through some sort of like basic training.
It's
So
different.
he
in
has
space.
some, yeah, and so like it's great because he's still like an everyman, but there's still a little bit of like he has the backing behind him to be calmer in these sort of situations. But like everything you do feels like something an engineer would be doing on this ship and how they would be reacting. Like all of your weapons are tools that would be used in the sci-fi universe. Like your main weapon, the plasma cutter, is used to cut up pieces of like metal so you can like put stuff together on a spaceship. And like you have like the razor saw, which you use to like really cut through harder things. So like everything in your toolkit feels like something that Isaac would know how to use. And the objectives in the game are also stuff that like you as Isaac would be the only person in the entire like galaxy would be able to solve. Like you have to go in, you have to solve like the maintenance issues with the engines or the stuff with the communications array, or like we have to reroute power to here. Let me go down to the fucking power ducts and crawl around on my stomach in this sticky goo and like change a bunch of cables because no one knows how else it's supposed to be done. So I think it does a really good job of doing that. And like it really makes you feel like I have to be the person doing this or it will not get done correctly, and that adds a lot of stress to the game. One of the differences in the game from Dead Space, the original, and this one are like the zero G sides of it. So in the original game, it kind of was just like you had different areas where you could like zoom to. Like you basically do a super jump and jump to the next platform, and then you'd be like upside down in that room, basically. In the remake, the rooms are fully like are fully zero gravity. So like imagine you're playing like Resident Evil Willer and like you have those that werewolf section where like they're chasing you around in Resident Evil Village. I want you to imagine that section, but now they're coming at from every possible angle because you're in a zero gravity zone.
Joe, should I play this?
I think you would really enjoy like this. I think it's a really good game.
Even if I know the wife thing at the end?
Yeah, that's fine. It's just like an actually like really good game. Like it's fun. And like that's the thing is like
it's full price right now, right?
What'd you say?
It's full price right now, right?
Yeah, it's full price right now.
Okay.
But I felt really engaged in the combat. Like I'm sitting there like, fuck, my plasma cutter's out of ammo and I need to cut this guy's arms off. What do I need to use? Oh god, they're coming on me. And like it's not just like tearing limbs from limbs. There are different enemy types that require different tools to use. So you're constantly changing between your weapons as well, which is also a really good thing to see in like a survival horror game where it's like you need to find the right tool for the job to do it. I'm trying to think what else is there. Tyler, do you remember the turret section of the game where you had to sit at a turret and shoot asteroids?
Yeah.
So they got rid of that section. It's way fucking cooler now. It's so cool. Yeah. And it probably has one of the coolest like giant like boss fights, I think.
Oh, don't spoil it.
I'm not. But like it just like I think they used the zero G element so good in this game. Like you're like, yes, this is only something that can exist in this game, and they do it great.
Is this a potential May pickup for Mr. Tyler?
No, I'm gonna pick it up and replay it. I love Dead Space 1. I actually played through it multiple times.
Yeah.
That was back in the day. That was back in middle school when I had time.
I was saying in May because you said May. Whatever. Anyways.
Oh! I thought you meant May as in like I may pick it up.
I see.
Yeah.
No, Dead Space is looking like it might be like September.
That's what I'm like. I was like, in September, this thing's gonna be like under $40, and that's when I'm gonna slide in.
Oh no, I don't care if it's full price. September is just probably when I have time.
How long? This game isn't long, is it, Joe?
No,
I beat it in 9 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely gonna wait for a sale.
it's probably the same. I would say it's the same. Did you feel like paying for Metroid Dread was worth it?
Yes, I did.
Then you should pay full price for this game.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not in a rush, and it's the beginning of the
Yeah.
year, and I got.
I really like this game a lot. I really enjoyed it, and it's kind of hard to like talk a little bit more about it without going into like just nitty gritty details of the game that like are just small things I really like.
I think this is on the same level of like. It's weird because Dead Space. It's weird talking about Dead Space as a game because it came out so long ago. I think it was like 2006, 2007.
Yeah, it's nearly like 10, nearly 20 years old maybe at this point.
And it's because it was that Xbox exclusive title, it was on the same level of like, if you know, you know.
It wasn't an Xbox exclusive because Isaac is a playable character in PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
When they ported it over, but it was for. I know it was a fact. It was an exclusive on Xbox for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
sure.
it hit the PlayStation at some point. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think 3 did. But no, I remember distinctly seeing that game. It's like, oh, I can't play that game because it's on PlayStation, or Xbox. I mean. But yeah, it's also a really weird thing where it's like this is Dead Space and it follows the same story of Dead Space, but at the same time, like it's so updated modernly, like it feels like a modern game. Like it doesn't feel like they just went and remastered and like, oh, the mechanics are there, we can go through it. It feels like they looked at everything that might have been like a nitty-gritty thing and updated it and made it feel really good.
But Dead Space originally was on PS3.
Was it?
Says it
God, I
was.
thought it was an Xbox exclusive.
Let's see. Released on December 2nd, potentially 2 years later, maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, that
Anyways,
might be the
that's not
thing.
what this conversation is about.
I'm just curious, man.
Joe,
Yeah, I know.
Throw this in the Goaty channel so when I look at that later in the year, I remember to pick it up and play it.
Yeah,
by
I
the
should
end
do
of the
that.
year.
But I really like the game, and I think like it's definitely, if you like survival horror games, 100% pick it up. I think it's great. I think it's got great combat, and I also played it on hard, and I think that was a really good difficulty for me. Like it definitely felt difficult, but I didn't feel like just absolute bullshit was being thrown my way all the time.
That's good to hear. I was actually thinking about that. If you go any harder, I think the hardest difficulty is for people who have already beaten the game.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I will say the final boss of this game is kind of wild. It's
man. It's interesting to think about how this game came out after Dead Space 3. Because Dead Space 3 was wild.
Yeah.
And it's like they didn't know where the story was going when they made the first game, but now in a remake, they know how the story ended, so they can make it better. It's just weird.
This seems like a good remake. This seems like a remake that's like not like the Last of Us remake.
Yeah.
No, this is way better than The Last of Us.
The thing about the story is that like there's like an element to the story that I feel like is a really ham-fisted in this game. And I thought that when I originally played like Dead Space 2, I was like, oh, we're really on the nose about this, aren't we? But at the same time, I don't hate it. It's just like, I think very Kojima-esque would be the way to describe its bluntness.
Oh,
you know?
cool. Great. I love, I mean, bluntness or subtleties for cowards. That's the Kojima standard, and that's what I like, actually. So
yeah, like this for sure. It's just like, oh, okay. But no, I really like this game. I think it's a fantastic remake. I think EA Mobile, who did the remake, did a fantastic job. That was the same studio that made Star Wars Squadrons, so they're pretty high on my list right now.
Solid studio.
Studios I really like.
the Canada studio, I believe. God, yeah, what'd you say? It's not mobile. Motive.
Motive, that's its name.
Yeah.
EA Motive. You're right.
I think Motive is probably the best section of EA right now.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
this will be the year where
Hot
I
take.
play this and the Mass Effect games if I find a slot. So we'll see how that goes.
Willard, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do to make you play Dead Space, Mass Effect, and Inscription?
First off, you need to finish Mother 3 because
Well-
you're already in.
Well,
Dead
Tyler,
Space.
how about you play a game that I like?
I know.
No, I
So
don't.
if
I don't
I
want
play-
him. I do not want him to play Mother 3. Play anything else I've recommended over the last 4 years.
No, I figured out the rhythm part of Mother 3 after we last talked about it, and then I did a section of Super Mario RPG, and I don't know why I was so confused about Mother 3.
That one's off the table. You just figure something else out, and then we'll see. So we do have an actual quick movie block. We have the horror block and the Bradley block. So let's jump into the horror block. Me, Joe, and Tyler all watched Smile. We also watched Terrifier 2 and The Vivitch, aka The Witch. And then I watched Megan, and Tyler and I watched Skinamarink. So
I'm jealous that you saw Megan.
Megan is currently on some streaming platforms, so you can track it down if you want. Make it a
Do I
movie
have to
night.
have a sailor's hat?
No, it's on a streaming platform.
Oh, what?
Yes.
What is it on?
Wait, is it? I mean, at worst, it's rentable on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's on Amazon right now to rent.
So we're gonna go in the order that I liked, since I've introduced the segment. Smile's probably the worst of the bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys would agree. Smile is, I'll say my piece. I just think it's like pretty generic a little bit and doesn't really have any highs. I do think the ending bits are the best parts, but throughout the journey, you realize like the danger is like weirdly non-present. Like the intensity is weirdly not there.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
And like, it also goes on for I think too long as well. Like
this, I'll say this too for anybody who has seen Smile and also has seen It Follows. Willer has not seen It Follows.
Yes, I have. I've mentioned multiple times that It Follows is one of my favorite movies.
Wait, then who hadn't seen it?
I don't
think
know.
Austin. I think we all seen It Follows. Like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, somebody had seen it and was like, yeah.
But I know where
Smile
you're
was
going.
okay.
You're gonna say that It Follows is just significantly better than this, and it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then so that's Smile. We've also watched Terrifier 2, which Tyler has been hyping up for a while. I like this movie actually. You got me. You motherfucker, you got me.
And it's great because you don't need to watch the first one.
No, you're right. It was perfectly fine. I had some questions, but after that, I was on board.
I just thought it was funny that Willard kept on trying to make sense of the movie. I'm like, Willard, you don't understand. It's just we're just gonna keep going.
I
Like,
don't
worry.
believe you. I actually think there's lore that's going to be revealed on the third one.
No,
and
I hate to break it to you, but like, Art's gonna be a fetus baby, and then he's just gonna be walking around like 3 feet tall, killing
Joe,
people.
What if I let y'all know right now Joe is wrong?
I know Joe is wrong because I think that the little girl is the actual supernatural entity, and Art the Clown is Sienna's dad, who like got the powers to be Art the Clown through the supernatural entity that's the little girl, but she only shows up in the second one.
That's a good yeah, she's not in the first one that I recall.
But that's because back then he was just on a rampage before he met his maker. Okay?
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the most distracting movie I might have ever seen because I think Sienna is maybe too hot for this planet.
There was a moment where we were like talking, and then she goes in the shower, and everyone just shut up, like mid sentence, and we're like, "Whoa, what is happening right now?"
She is maybe the most distractingly beautiful protagonist I've ever seen, to the detriment of the film. However, it got me really on board to the final bits where shit goes off the wall chains, And Tyler's like, Willer's not gonna like this. He was wrong. That shit was rad.
Yeah, I fucking love that. It's just like, oh, you thought the movie was over? Nope.
And
Yeah.
I like the characters. Now the gore goes a little heavy.
This movie, Terrifier 2 is lighter on the gore than Terrifier 1.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I think the scene in the girl's bedroom is the meanest thing I've seen in a long time in a movie.
That I will say, I think the director, I hope he doesn't have any repressive issues and this is like his outlet.
I think
in the first movie, he straps up a girl upside down on like a square frame where she's like spread like a starfish. And she's upside down and naked, and he takes a chainsaw through her. So that's the gore from the first movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think the bedroom scene's worse because oh my god, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
I think it's also just an FX artist that's like, I know how to do like real events. I can make money. I can scrap up the money. Let's make a movie where I just do a bunch of effects, which are really good. Like they're great like practical effects. I mean, Terrifier 2 is what I thought it was gonna be. This is just schlock gore. That's about it. It is funny though.
It's got some good humor, and I like the characters. And Sienna's my girl, so
it's fun.
It's fun. It's Tyler Terrifier 3. If the stars align, we're gonna watch that shit together.
Yes. I like how at one point y'all. So like, there's this scene in the movie. It doesn't make any sense. Like they're in high school, but they go to like a bar. Like for a Halloween party, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, there was a bar in Houston growing up that everybody went to while they were in high school. Like, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Like they served high schoolers. It was a sketchy ass place where people, like people got roofied there, you know. And then like she drinks, and then she's acting like she's on mushrooms, and y'all are like, I like how when this teenager drinks, she acts like she's on Molly. And then her friend comes up to her and she's like, "Hey, I spiked your drink with Molly."
That's just got called good filmmaking. We got
I know, right? That's good acting.
We got the picture.
Like all right.
And then we watched The Witch, The Vivitch. This is Joe loves this movie, so go take it.
I really, really like this movie. This is by Robert Eggers, who also did The Lighthouse.
And The Northman, which you should watch next.
Which I should watch. I don't think The Witch is as good as the movie as The Lighthouse, but like I think I just like that movie really resonated with me in terms of like what was it showing there. And I wanted to bring up that I think it's great that Robert Eggers, like both of these movies have to deal with isolation in some way, and he deals with them two completely different ways. Like from just a camera perspective, because in The Lighthouse it's in a 4:6 shot and everything's like congested.
4:3, yes.
Yeah, 4:3. Sorry. Everything's congested and claustrophobic. It feels very tight. Whereas in The Witch, you have a lot of wide shots. You have the sense of like, oh, there is literally nothing around me. There's no civilization. If I run off somewhere, I'm not going to find anybody for hours, kind of a situation. And I thought that's a great sign of a director who knows what he's doing. I also really liked kind of like the thematic ending to the movie where like, you know, God fails this girl, and so she ends up going with the witches.
Yeah, that ending shot is very haunting.
Yes, and I really liked everything about it. Like this is a movie. Was like this is what I want a horror movie to be like to me. It's and like there's some gruesome shots. Like there's the shot with like the mother that's having the delusion, and we cut back to her in real life, and there's the crow on her.
Yeah, I did not like the crow nips.
I was just like, whoa. That's intense. I just really like the movie just in general. I think the one issue I have with it is the dialogue is incredibly 1600s, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's so hard to follow, and it's a real effort to actually.
But we got there in the end. We figured.
We did.
By the way, Bradley, if you've ever seen any of these or have any interest, do jump in.
No, I had an interest in Skinamarink, but the vibe I've gotten is that people think it's either 1 star or 5 star. Like it's either 11 or 8.
Oh, you'll hear about Skinamarink just after this, but
Skinamarink is better than Smile.
Yeah,
I mean, Anyways, my thing with The Witch is, it's the only movie I could describe as religious horror, where the horror is religion.
Yes.
And I thought that was awesome. I thought that was an interesting bit. Uh, and the scene with Black Phillip is really good. I'll say that. And Tyler, if you want to give your little spiel on the Vivitch.
Oh, Willer, I was trying to pull up. You know, the Vivitch was alright. Like, I thought it was an interesting premise, you know, but like, you know, there was a lot of the movie where it's like, hold on. Yeah, a part tip for dat.
Huh?
What?
You know what I'm talking about? A part tip for dat. Nord Lord Nord Chikyo. You can't understand what the fuck they're saying a lot of the movie. Sorry, that's a really long bit for that stupid shit.
Tyler just sent me an Instagram reel that is about this. It's really good.
It's like when you were watching Netflix with your friends and they turn off subtitles, and then the guy looks at him and goes, "A tip for dat?" And he's like, "What? I don't understand." He's like, "A tip for dat? No working?"
I do agree. I think
No,
I
it's
think we
definitely a tip for that. Yeah.
yeah, it's and like that. I do think like really brings it down because it's hard to like really resonate. Like, what the hell are you talking about if I can't understand what you're saying? But like we got there, and I think Willer's take on the religious horror is like something really for me. Growing up in a household that was very Catholic and very much just like we're going to church every Sunday. You need to pray for God for your salvation. But I really like the movie a lot actually, and it makes me excited for the Norseman, and maybe go watch The Lighthouse as well. So I'm excited to see the Norseman.
You're going to really like parts of the Northman for sure.
There is I've been watching a lot of horror movies those last few months.
Yes.
I love horror movies. There's a lot of good stuff to watch right now. The Vivitch is not bad.
Yeah, like it didn't blow my world away.
I would rather watch, and it sucks because we watched Smile and then we watched the Terrifier 2.
I would rather watch The Witch again than Terrifier 2.
Y'all found similarities in that, and then we watched The Witch, and we were like, "Yo, we could watch another movie." Tyler wanted to watch The Ritual. I was like, "You're gonna make me literally follow up my recommendation movie after like a near similar other version of that movie, and y'all just like destroyed me a little bit."
We didn't know. Okay.
I know, but it was unfortunate because it's like a lot of the movies I've been watching. The Ritual has a lot more in it that I enjoy in terms of build-up effect. Because a lot of the movies, you know, we've been experiencing a main driver of the horror movie is builds up, and then shit hits the fan, you know? I like the shit hits the fan moment.
It's funny. That's how Joe described a Western once upon a time.
I will also say, and this is how I'd like to, you know, kind of throw out my credibility here. Midsummer does a really good job about doing the build-up. Like, when the shit hits the fan, you're not that surprised. You're just like, yeah, this is what I've been expecting out of these people. Like,
I'd agree, but then you get to the last scene, and the last scene I could not have prepared for in Midsommar.
Yeah, I'm just... The Vivitch shit hits the fan, I'm just... I don't know. There was nothing disturbing about it or makes the audience go like fear the unknown. It's all very clear what's happening. Nothing scary, nothing gory, no practical effects. It actually takes a really cheap option out. And I'm like, okay.
I would say the opposite of like, I think because you see so little of the witch, it makes it more intense, and it's what drives the family that kind of go insane.
I also think religion,
the witch.
I know, but we don't see a lot of her.
Religion being the horror is much scarier than some unknown monster, with the exception of one.
You're absolutely correct, and I get that's the
it's
human
a preference.
Versus
Yeah.
It's the preference, and it's
okay. Speaking of preferences, let's talk about Skinamarink, because now we're down to 2 people who have seen these movies.
Okay.
Yes.
Tyler, you can lead. We'll play good cop, bad cop on Skinamarink.
What do you want me to do first?
I thought you would just be the bad cop.
Oh, I'll bad cop it. I didn't hate it, but I'll bad cop it. So this movie is really cheap, and I applaud them for using the resources that they had. But they use this really practical film grain effect that multiple people have noted out.
Yes.
And it bothers me because they use it the whole movie, and it's ever present in the dark. You know when you as a kid you used to like close your eyes and itch your eyes, and you'd itch them with your knuckles for so long that you'd start to see a lot of spots?
Yes.
That's what the film grain looks like. And like I'm seeing letters in it, and it's like following this rhythmic pattern, and I'm just like, I got so distracted at certain points in the movie because there's a lot of downtime in certain parts that I'm just like, is this part of the movie?
The best
or am
part
I
is I've never seen anyone bring up the letters, and I've dug deep. So Tyler just like
I'm on something, man.
Yeah, Skinamarink is a movie made for a budget of $15,000, and like Tyler mentioned, there's a lot of downtime in this movie, and because of that, this movie is an arduous experience. There will be these insane build-ups to very tense scenes, and they work for some people more than others. They work for me. I don't know if Tyler ever got got the intense moments like I did. I don't know. Did you ever feel that, or were you just like zoning throughout?
What in intense spots?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do pretty predictable build up for their stuff. There is one moment where we see what the results of the daughter is, and
Yeah.
that made the movie 1 star for me. I don't obviously the movie is not overall 1 star for me personally, but that just reveals the budget very hard to me, and I thought they were doing really good until that point.
Do you mean the eyes and mouth?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I don't feel like that revealed a budget or anything. It just felt like a story beat to me. It felt normal.
It's good. The moment's good. What the girl looks like is not good.
Okay, sure. You saying the practical effects weren't good. So
yes.
Let me good cop this movie, because this movie sucks, but it's also one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. To the point where when I was making not top 100 games, but what are my top 100 things? I was like, Skinamarink has to be number 100 of both the best things and worst things I've ever watched simultaneously. It's like a superimposed particle that is existing in multiple spots of reality. I think about this. I think about this movie a lot, and it's the only movie that's ever genuinely scared me. And I didn't feel that way as I was coming off of it. It was when I got home at night and I'm going to bed, and I see the film grain in the darkness, the film grain that was burned into my eyes, and I'm seeing stuff in the shadows, and I'm reliving some of the. I'm reliving.
I don't know why shit's going off.
Yeah, you're scaring me. Is this part of the experience still?
Yeah.
I'm remembering certain visuals from the movie, and it's really freaking me out. And that hasn't happened to me probably ever since I was a very young child. And that's what this movie does. It makes you relive that feeling of primordial childhood fear. And the movie will build up its momentum, and what people don't like about this movie is it'll build up the momentum and then just completely drop it for 5 to 7 minutes, and then have to rebuild up the momentum and then drop it. But what it does is you're in this house, and you're seeing the angles of this house so many times that I think Tyler said it best, that occasionally you'll be watching the movie and you'll be like, yo, new angle just dropped, because it's
that's bad cop.
What? No, but at the same time, by the time you get to the end of this movie, the house that you've begrudgingly been watching for over 120 minutes, because this movie is too long, at the same time, if you cut it, it wouldn't be such a torturous experience, and I feel like the torture part is part of it. But it's by the time you get to the end of the movie, the house that you've become painfully accustomed to is nearly unrecognizable, and that's part of the storytelling. And the antagonist of this movie, might be the scariest of any movie I've ever seen. Because
Now, it is only scary because of what that blog poster wrote as its potential.
no, that's not like why it's scary. Why it's scary is because you start to realize, or like one interpretation is that this thing is becoming better at what it does over time, and you get to see like scenes that didn't make sense the first time. You at the end of the movie, you get to contextualize. It's like, oh, this was it flexing its abilities and learning, and that makes it very horrifying because it makes it one of the most vile, mean antagonists of any movie I've ever seen. And it's just scary that something that powerful and that mean can exist. It got
what
to
was
me.
what was the first movie we talked about tonight? City of God, and that one character that you're talking about?
Yes, Little Z.
Yeah, who's worse? Skinamarink or Lil Z?
Little Z existed, and that's pretty fucked up. But the Skinnering monster, if real, would be the actual like most terrifying thing in any fiction. Like this thing scares the shit out of me. Bradley, you said that you're not sure about watching it. I think you should still watch this, especially because you have an affinity for small children. Like you would empathize with the fact that the protagonists are like a 5 and 6 year old child.
This thing, I just read the premise and immediately I was like, I would watch this movie.
Yeah, it basically,
Yeah, like
the premise is these two kids are stuck in this house and weird shit happens. They don't know how to get out.
I didn't even know that much going in.
Me neither.
I like Tommy showed me 10 seconds of a trailer and I was like, yeah, I'll watch this.
Man, the final shot of the movie really lives with me. So it's like, it's a movie that constantly kills its momentum, but if you let it seep into you, which, like, I watched it with, Austin and Tyler, and they're both like, I don't regret watching the movie, which is weird, because, like, as you're watching it, it's like, what the fuck is going on? I can't believe this is this long. But if you go, like, a step beyond, and you kind of, like, let it connect with you a little bit, you get the other side of the spectrum, which is where I've kind of fallen, where, like, this is one of the scariest things you've seen.
You need to have like half an espresso going into the movie because you want to be awake, but you don't want your time to slow down. You know what I mean?
Or you could little puff Megan Skinamarink double feature will do it to you because that's what I did. So
there were a lot of times when I was just like, I'm ready to go to fucking sleep. Oh,
yeah.
Guy behind and like big jump, guy behind me yelling, "Holy fucking Christ!" Yeah. No, I'm awake.
But do give this a try, Bradley. But just be warned that you will hate it, and then after you hate it, you might come to like it. Because that's
What?
the
Why
only
would Bradley hate it?
because it's boring as shit. We just said it.
I don't know. If you tell Bradley to pay attention to something, I think he'd like it.
I could do it.
I think this would stretch Bradley's patience. Because it stretched mine.
Wait, hold on. I want to go see this with Bradley and just have him sitting next to me and be like, yo, I've been looking at this wall for 3 fucking minutes.
But man, when shit happens to that wall, you feel it, Bradley. When
He's like, I've been staring at this wall for 3 fucking minutes. What the fuck is
I don't
going
know.
on?
I like weird experimental bullshit.
it is the
I don't
most
know.
experimental movie I've ever watched by like a mile. Like nothing even comes close to experimental, which
No
doesn't
one else
mean
would dare.
Yeah. Anywho, lastly, I'll very quickly touch on Megan. Megan is super fun. Everyone go watch Megan. It is that movie about the AI robot thing that goes berserk a little bit. It's so entertaining. Megan is just so fucking funny and fun. The one thing that is leverage against this movie, and I would agree, is that it doesn't go as horrific as it could. It's not as violent as I would want a little bit. But Megan 2 is going to pop so hard, so just wait on it. Yeah, no, like, this is just you sit down, you have a good time, the story's fun, Megan's progression is fun, she's one of the most endearing, like, movie villains, and this was made by James Wan, who made *Malignant*, so he's made 2 of the greatest horror movie villains of the last couple of years that I've seen, between Gabriel from *Malignant* and Megan from this movie.
Yo, Malignant's fucking dope.
*Malignant* fucks. I can't believe Tommy doesn't like *Malignant*. That actually throws me off.
It still pisses me off that Kelly was high as balls and called the movie out in the first the first opening scene of the
That's
movie.
Funniest shit I've ever heard.
She just predicted the entire fucking movie.
She was in the wavelength.
She pulled the was the Good Place guy.
Hey,
Oh.
Bradley, you should finish season 1 of The Good Place. Just do season 1 for me.
Hell yeah,
I'll
because
slip-
I had
I'll
a
slip
great
you
time
20.
watching that.
Yeah. Just trust us on this one. Do
Just
give us a one
yeah,
time.
just put it on, and people in the vicinity will just be like, "What is this?" I'll watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
You don't need to ask permission. Just put it on, and they'll sit there.
ask
with you.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
Bradley,
Yeah.
let's do your block and wrap this up. You watch Train of
Yeah.
Busan, Luca,
Oh.
and You People. I will say, because Bradley, you put something down on the channel ahead of time instead of surprising me the day of, I also watched You People because you gave me a heads up. So
No way,
Yes.
it's not that great. Let's do that one first.
Okay, I was worried you'd come in and be like, "Yo, this was the funniest shit." I was like, "Oh no."
No, most reviews I've seen give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10, which I think is about
That's
what
fair.
it deserves.
That's fair.
Here's the thing I do really like about the movie, and this might just be a me thing. I really love I love when shows and movies are good at making you uncomfortable. And this movie has some scenes that just make you go, whoo!
I had to pause. We were transitioning to the scene where they're playing Hangman at the bachelorette party, and I had to pause and walk away because I
yeah.
knew I would cringe by the time I got back.
No, me and Amy were watching this movie, and we legitimately had to pause it for a second because they were at the dinner scene, and they got on the subject of slavery. So hold on, let me give
Back
the
it
premise
up.
of the movie. The premise of the movie is Jonah Hill dates a black girl, Lauren London, and Eddie Murphy is Lauren London's father, and then Jonah Hill's
Julia Dreyfus from
Yeah.
Seinfeld is Jonah Hill's mother.
which is kind of funny. I saw someone online mention that it's like she ages backwards.
Jonah
she low-key
Hill
looks.
is the oldest looking person in the movie.
That's the thing. His parents look younger than he does.
He
in this
looks old.
movie.
He looks younger than both of the girl's parents, Eddie Murphy and the wife.
But essentially, Jonah Hill's family, white Jewish family, and Lauren London's family is a
Black Muslim.
Black Muslim family, and so debatably two of the most abused groups of people in history, and also, Jews and Muslims don't necessarily have the best relations in recent times. But you could say that. But here's that reaction though is what makes this movie interesting. Though is
Man, the last song of this movie is oh my god! Wait, it just clicked for me. The last song for this movie is "N-Words in Paris" by Kanye West, and that is wild to think about.
that is actually pretty good.
That's crazy.
But the big point of the movie is that these two are dating, and God, their cultures are just so different, and it's like, can they make it work? And dude, the part of the movie that made us have to pause is they were at dinner and they got on the subject of slavery, and
The Holocaust comes up, of course, as a counter.
Jonah Hill's family is like, well, we were the original slaves, and Eddie Murphy's like, well, you really only have to go back like 1 or 2 grandparents, but when slavery happened for us. And she's like, well, you know what was more recent than that? The Holocaust. And he was like, are you telling me you think the Holocaust was worse than slavery? And we paused the movie right after that line, and we're like, this scene is about to get so uncomfortable.
Oh, that scene gets clown shoes right after that, actually. It's some goofy shit.
So here's probably the biggest gripe about the movie. I just don't think the two leads really have that much
They
chemistry.
don't have chemistry, man. They do a little bit in like some of the scenes where it's just like, you're cute, you're goofy.
Oh,
I think with the scene that they meet, they have a ton of chemistry.
But
That's
as
where
it
it's the
goes
highest.
on, it's like, this is weird.
well, do y'all want to know some hot trivia that just dropped?
Sure.
Sure.
Apparently, the kids between Jonah Hill and the female lead, I don't know what her name was CGI'd.
What?
That feels uncomfortable.
They couldn't
Yeah.
even. They weren't even comfortable enough to kiss each other in an
No.
acting scene.
That feels,
No.
even though the writer and director is black, that feels racially charged to me. Jonah
Yeah,
Hill also wrote, to be fair.
Why?
Because like why didn't they just kiss?
No, what? Yeah, why?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just like they CGI'd the kiss. I'm like, why?
Unless
Like,
this was
we
in
would
production for a while and that's a COVID thing, but like maybe I don't know. I doubt it.
Here's one thing about the movie I've been wanting to talk about, because the whole movie I was noticing this, and like God, I could not stop noticing it, and I was really happy because I went to like r/movies on Reddit and I looked at just like what do people think about this movie, and I saw like two of the first comments I saw were people commenting on the same thing. In this movie, the scene transitions are obnoxious because
They are.
like every scene transition is like 10 seconds long, and it's like, oh, like if the next scene's going to be in the black part of town, it's like 10 seconds of dudes playing basketball, or like I don't know.
Apparently the
It's just
director is used to directing sitcoms, so like it's like a sitcom episode stretched a little bit. I will say,
hold on. Who is the director?
I looked up his name yesterday. Unfortunately, you'll have to look it up while I talk, or Joe can do his research thing. I will say, and I don't know, maybe this is insensitive to say.
Yeah, it's sorry. I had a feeling if I knew who it was, I was like, I bet it's the same guy who makes Blackish and Black AF, because
Is it?
he uses a lot of the same actors in it, and it is.
Oh, interesting. So I think like the movie's a little too on the nose about its messages. Where like Eddie Murphy will come in and just be like, "Look at all these whiteys," and just go from there. And he's so mean. Like Eddie Murphy's character is so aggressively mean, while Julia Dreyfus is just stupid. And like I feel like she's a little more well intentioned than Eddie Murphy, who's like literally trying to sabotage this wedding that they're trying to do. So it's kind of hard to like relate to him in that way. And I don't know if you agreed, Bradley, but also it doesn't help that like the messages are very on the nose. But when you get to race, especially in today where we're still having to have this conversation, sometimes you have to be on the nose. I feel like there was a line in between that would have made the movie a little more interesting.
That's the thing. I feel like you know, the message is trying to tell. I feel like maybe a different crew could have told it better. This movie was just entertaining enough to finish, I think.
What carried was I love the cast. The cast was so good.
That's like it is a good
That is
cast.
a very strong cast.
They're not getting much to work with, but they're very good.
What's the thing? Like, you look at the names on the movie poster and you're like, holy fucking shit. I just wish they had a better script to work with.
Indeed.
Or something.
Dude, and two of these screenshots from the movie, they're like in a diner in one. Jonah Hill looks like a shitty knockoff version of the dude. Like, it looks like the dude from New Jersey.
I learned that Jonah Hill is gotten really into surfing lately, and that has fucked his skin up. That's a shame.
And
Apparently.
he needs to be out there like Facebook lad. Just caked up in mayonnaise all over his skin.
Yes.
The other one is where he's in the barbershop with Eddie Murphy and wearing just like a red hoodie.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah, Eddie Murphy sabotaged him to wear that red hoodie into the barber shop.
I was about to say, he looks like he just looks like yellow Adam Sandler from Hustle.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Blonde Adam Sandler? Because he's just that's how Adam Sandler looks in Hustle. That's it.
I haven't seen Hustle, but you are the Adam Sandler like stan that I know. So
Hustle was entertaining.
Anywho, that's you people. Bradley, send us off with your final two movies.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Pixar's Luca, which I feel like is among Pixar movies kind of slept on, especially for how recently it came out, which, I mean, it was a few years ago, but I know I at least slept on it. I watched it. Holy shit, I loved this movie. It is such a feel-good movie. I was not in a... I don't know how you can be in a bad mood watching this. It is so heartwarming. It's kind of like it's a Little Mermaid movie in the sense that it's like, you know, merperson sees the human world, family is like, no, it's dangerous, don't go up there. And they're like, but what the fuck? They make all this cool stuff. It follows a boy named Luca and a boy named Alberto, who are both like mer people. And the plot of the movie, the entire goal is they want a Vespa.
Yeah.
Like, they saw a
Pretty good
poster of a
goals.
Vespa and they're like, we want that. And that is the plot of the entire movie all the way to the end.
I love me small scale stakes.
That's exactly why I liked it. I love when a story can have such small stakes, like such a small scale, and still be that entertaining. And God, they are just the best friends. It's adorable. Like, I love this movie and I love all the characters in it. I also really like the art style in this, especially because I feel like a lot of times, a lot of these 3D animated movies with Disney and Pixar, just the people kind of all look the same, or I don't know, like they're stylized the same.
Sure.
They went for a very different style in this movie, which is really fun. There's not much more to say about it than that. God, like it is a feel good movie. It doesn't get too intense.
A quick question for you and Joe. So,
Yeah.
say you have Coco, Luca, and Soul. What would be the Willer watch order? Because those have been the animated movies I've been sitting on for a while.
Soul,
Ooh.
Coco, Luca.
Okay.
That's the thing. Soul and Coco is a toss-up. I'd probably still do Luca last, but I would put Coco first. That movie.
I would put Coco first as well because Coco is a lot of energy.
Okay.
I see.
And then Soul's depressing, and then we go back to energy.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a good
I
sandwich.
like this. Okay. There you go.
I thought if we're saying a watch order, I would do that. But in order of priority of like what I think is going to be most important, I think it goes Soul, Coco, Luca.
I think Soul's
I
gonna
think-
fuck me up a little bit, so maybe that
Yeah,
should go
it fucked
second.
me up, and I don't get fucked up in Pixar movies anymore, and it fucked me up. So-
No, yeah, I'm totally gonna watch all these. You just know that, you know how I.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're looking around like December of 2024.
I have to pencil it in. Is all.
Yeah.
Or be depressed enough to do a movie binge.
That's me when I've got time.
Yeah, we'll link up.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I just want to say that I watched Luca. I think the one thing I really liked about Luca is that they do they do kind of like a transitional thing that when they get hit by water, they turn to the mer form. And I think the effect they do with that is super good because it's like very like fluid when it happens. Which is just a really small thing, but it was really cool because you get that really like that immediately like leaving land and going to the water effect. It's very seamless and transitional. It's a really pretty movie.
Now, Bradley, you watched Train to Busan?
Train to Busan. It is a Korean zombie movie, and it's the zombie movie of zombie movies to me now. Holy shit! The plot of the movie is the main character. God, I don't know the actor's name, but it's the guy in Squid Game who plays the slapping game with the main character at the subway in the first episode.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He plays the lead, and basically he is taking his daughter on a train ride to visit her mom because, they're divorced. They get on the train, and people start turning into zombies. And, dude, zombies on a train just amps the fucking... It amps the anxiety up so much. I think trains just make shit better. Movies, action movies, stand battles, GoldenEye levels.
It's true. You gotta have a train level. Is this by Bong Joon-ho, I believe is his name, who did Snowpiercer and Parasite? And
no, I don't think it's by him.
Okay,
but
it'd just be convenient if he's like the train guy. He loves trains.
Oh my god, I think trains are just good because they limit
space.
Like limit the resources your character has. They limit space. They limit how far you can run away. They limit who can come help you.
But also they allow like actual like we can transition to another location if we need to for some whatever reason. So
that's the thing. I think trains just have a well-defined goal. It's like we're here and we need to get here in a straight line, and there's stuff between us and our goal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! But the president got the Jesus corpses. Now what?
I know. So, man, I think the number one thing I would praise this movie for is there are way scarier movies, but this movie kept my heart at a steady beating rate the entire way through. It never let up even a little bit. Anytime I thought we were going to get a break, like the characters get away from the zombies, we're safe in this room. 10 seconds later, boom, it's even worse. And if it's not the zombies, my heart is beating because of the conversations the characters are having with each other, which is also good.
You mean the one fucking scum businessman who's in the movie?
That guy. Oh my god. Most punchable character in any movie.
Yes.
Also, by the way, very prominent in this movie, Don Lee, who I think a lot of people might know him as he was the very strong, muscly Asian dude in Eternals. I think
Yes.
which
Gilgamesh.
I was surprised. Like he's been in a lot of movies lately, but apparently he wasn't in very much before Train to Busan, if anything. So he really popped off in this, and he's like one of my favorite characters. But this movie, aside from being like very stressful, very scary, it also made me cry. It's very touching, and it's also fucking hilarious when it wants to be. Like it constantly flops from scary to hilarious to heart touching, and it doesn't feel jarring when it does so. I just was looking at the screen the entire time.
Bradley, I've added it to the movie list, the very prestigious list of 200 movies that I would watch.
Yeah, I feel like I had a good 3 movies here. One that's like, probably don't watch this movie, and then Luca, which is like, it's really good, it's heartwarming, and then this one is like, I think anybody should watch Train to Busan.
I should have watched Train to Busan to talk to you with instead of you people. But
no, it is. Yeah,
I was curious.
Yeah. See, I'm sitting here like, I thought everybody had seen Train to Busan, so I didn't say anything about it.
No, because you people don't want to watch Korean movies. I was just gonna say, everyone here needs to watch
I saw
more.
I saw Train to Busan before I even knew you guys.
Yeah, but people need to watch Parasite and Decision to Leave. I'll just throw that out there.
Apparently, I need to watch more Korean stuff because every Korean thing I see is off the goddamn chain.
They're kicking ass.
Oh god, what is that Korean Netflix show?
Good Game?
Alice in Border? No, that's anime.
No. Sweet Home. Bradley, Sweet Home is fucking awful.
Oh.
I think it is fucking hilarious how bad this show is. I think you would enjoy watching.
I could use something to laugh at.
It's a dumpster fire with explosions in it.
I see a boy with a knife.
Bradley.
Oh, it's Amori.
You know where you'll know the Imagine Dragons League of Legends song?
Yeah, I hate it.
So the original master for that song has League of Legends sound effects in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, there is no alternate Imagine Dragons. What's the name of it? Warriors. There is no alternate version of Warriors without League of Legends sound effects in it. In this show, that is the theme of the hero. Is Warriors. They play this song like every episode.
Pentakill.
And all I'm thinking is just like, oh, there's the League of Legends sound effect. There it is. Just like, it cracks me
Okay,
up.
but remind me, Tyler, Alice in Borderland is good, right?
Yeah, Alice in Borderland is good. But yeah, sorry, I'm gonna up Bradley. Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Train to Busan is... Sorry we made you watch the wrong Train movie. Bullet Train, no. Train to Busan, yes.
I'm probably much more likely to like Train to Busan.
I think Train to Busan is, it's like, for zombie movies, it goes, yeah, there was Night of the Walking Dead, like, that was, you know, the thing. And then it was, like, 28 Days Later, and then, like, Train to Busan.
People just need to make more fucking train movies.
And with that in mind, who wants to take the question of the day? We could squeeze one in, quick 5 minutes. What's your favorite train level movie episode of anything? Go.
Ooh. Here's the thing. My favorite train thing is probably Snowpiercer, and that's my answer.
There you go.
The train episode in Archer.
Okay.
What's the train episode in Archer?
Archer really wants to get into a gunfight on a train, like on top of the train, and he's just all the time. And that's the line where he goes like, "I'm afraid the cumulative hangover is going to kill me if I stop drinking."
That one's really good.
I'll be predictable and go with the final fight of Steel Ball Run. Well, the quote unquote final fight. You know, if you know, you know.
It's the setup.
It's not the setup, it's the fight. I'm talking about high voltage, which shouldn't exist, but whatever.
I mean, Joe said Archer, and I can't think of anything related good with games. I'll say Mugen Train, Demon Slayer.
Oh shit, good pick, good pick.
Actually, a good arc in the manga. I really like.
Yes, it's very
Yeah.
Joe.
It's good in the anime. from what I
I'm
heard.
very excited for you to finish this. We have to talk
Yeah.
about it.
I will also throw in. Well, I'm sure I'll like Murder on the Orient Express when I read that. I think that'll be my 4th Agatha Christie book, so I'm looking forward to. That's a train story.
I think also the opening to Uncharted 2 is good.
I like the train demon in Bayonetta 3. There you go. That counts. All right, you guys. It was fun. I will catch you guys somewhere in March, where
Yeah,
I hope everyone is doing all right.
Join us next time for our design talk and how you can make any video game better with the one word.
What's the one word?
Train.
Join us next time.
Oh shit! I can't spoil it. You're right. Bye
You
bye.
can't sell it. Bye.